This is Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome to the 2014 Capital One Bowl. The Florida Citrus Bowl Stadium in Orlando, South Carolina and Wisconsin meeting for the first time on the gridiron. The Gamecocks seeking their third straight 11-win season. The Badgers going for win number 10 and a 3-0 record in the Capital One Bowl. Hi, everybody. Alongside Brian Greasy, I'm Dave Pash. Happy New Year. Well, South Carolina comes in with 10 wins, beat 2 teams playing in BCS bowl games. For all intents and purposes, really a BCS team. Everybody knows about Jadeveon Clowney. His last game, he'll be the #1 pick in the NFL draft. More than likely, we'll talk about him coming up. But let's focus on Connor Shaw. In the SEC, when you talk quarterbacks, Johnny Manziel, A.J. McCarron, Zach Mettenberger, Aaron Murray. But in terms of the numbers and what he's meant to South Carolina, Connor Shaw deserves to be in that conversation.
Well, he could be the most underrated player in all of college football. All he does is win. 26-5 as a starter, undefeated at home. I'm looking forward to watching him in his last game in a South Carolina uniform. He is the unquestioned leader and MVP of this team. You see his career ranks, completion percentage, touchdowns, but by far most important statistic for a quarterback, wins. And that's all that Connor Shaw has done for Steve Spurrier in this program.
And he has some good weapons with him on offense. Wisconsin has some explosive players on offense as well, particularly at the running back position. Melvin Gordon, outstanding sophomore, announced that he will come back to Wisconsin next year. He and James White combining for 2,800 rushing yards. They have a 1,000-yard receiver in Jared Abbrederis. But the question today is, can Wisconsin, Brian, match up with South Carolina's speed on defense?
Well, here's the history, right? The last 3 Rose Bowls, Wisconsin has lost. Now they come on in a January 1 game against a very worthy opponent. They are going to have to do something different to win this game. We talked with Gary Andersen last night. We've got to be more multiple on offense. They've got to throw the football. They've got to start to incorporate pace. And on defense, they've got to be more aggressive. If they want to beat South Carolina, Wisconsin is going to have to do something different. We'll see how it plays out in this game.
They have to find a way to block number 7, Jadeveon Clowney. With more on him, here's Tom Luganbill.
Well, I think the biggest challenge for Wisconsin is how do you handle Jadeveon Clowney, not just in pass protection, but in the run game. I think it's hard for people who can't put a tangible number next to the plays that he makes stopping the run. And he will be tested today because Wisconsin's going to try and put him in a phone booth, run right at him, neutralize some of that speed and quickness, and see if they can take the edge off of those passing downs. We'll see how he holds up throughout the course of this game when it comes to running the ball down his throat.
All right, Loogie. Well, you know we'd show it and show it early. A year ago today, Jadeveon Clowney made the most memorable hit of 2013. What does he have in store for us today? Kickoff is next.
Okay, here's the same play. Same exact play, only this time we're running to the opposite side. Quarterback steps up. Receivers, you got to get there. Come on, Mike. You got it. Come on, right there. Get him. I got it. There you go. Right.
LSU's Mike the Tiger is ready for the Capital One Mascot Challenge. Are you? Go to CapitalOneBowl.com to vote today.
There is a more in the CIA.
The hunt for America's deadliest traitor.
My name is Aldrich Ames.
Became one woman's.
How much does he know?
He knows everything.
Greatest mission.
The whole thing was a setup.
You are a warrior, protecting your country. You're the most heroic woman I've ever met.
Do you have any knowledge of a nuclear attack on America?
What am I gonna do?
The Assets. Premieres tomorrow, 10/9 Central on ABC.
Wisconsin, you're the visitors. You get to call the coin toss. 2 helmets are ahead. Capital One will be a tail. Kevin's going to toss the coin. We're going to let it hit the ground. What are you going to call, Wisconsin?
Tails.
Wisconsin calls tail. And it's ahead. South Carolina's won the toss. South Carolina will receive. Which way do you want to kick, Wisconsin?
Kick that way.
Turn with your backs to those goals, captains. South Carolina will receive. receive. Captain, shake hands. Have a great game.
Capital One's Kevin Borgman down at midfield for the pregame coin toss with Jay Strickers, the referee, retiring after 30 years. He worked the first BCS National Championship game. He works with the Pac-12, and when Wisconsin heard that Pac-12 officials were working this game, some red flags came up because of the Wisconsin-Arizona State game earlier in the season, but none of the Pac-12 officials that worked that game are working a bowl game. And the Pac-12 worked very hard to put together the best crew for the Capital One Bowl today. 300th game as a college head coach for Steve Spurrier. His 9th year at South Carolina, a record of 32-6 over the last 3 seasons. First year for Gary Andersen after 4 years at Utah State. 11 wins last year, 9-3 this year. But the Badgers couldn't wait to get on the field. A long layoff since their loss November 30th at home to Penn State, which ended a 6-game win streak. It is warm but damp here in Orlando. As we start 2014, South Carolina will get the football to start. Second time in 3 years that South Carolina has been in the Capital One Bowl. Beat Nebraska 2 years ago, and then last year in the Outback Bowl, knocked off Michigan. As Brian mentioned, Wisconsin not playing in the Rose Bowl for the first time in 4 years. Deep kickoff, and Pharaoh Cooper lets it go out of the back of the end zone, so a touchback, and South Carolina will start on the 25. Number 9, South Carolina, top 10 for the second straight year, first time in school history, 3 straight 10-win seasons. And approaching school record for total offense, only team with 2 wins against BCS Bowl teams. They knocked off Central Florida, and they hammered Clemson again. They also beat Missouri in a thrilling come-from-behind double overtime win.
And I think it'd be safe to say that this offense for South Carolina is the most explosive in their program's history. And the trigger man, Connor Shaw, in his last game in a South Carolina uniform. What about the emotions going through his head right now?
And Shaw will throw on 1st and 10. And wide open is Ellington, bouncing off of the tackle and then grabbed to the ankles by Borland. A 20-yard pickup on the first play.
Connor Shaw has just made plays all year. Obviously, play action is going to have an effect when you have Mike Davis in the backfield, but this anticipation, location, and accuracy from Connor Shaw is the most improvement he's made in his game from last year to this year, and it's been impressive to see his progression.
Only 1 interception thrown all year, 21 touchdowns for Connor Shaw. All-time leader in South Carolina history in completion percentage. He's an accurate quarterback. Going to dump it off here to Mike Davis out in space. Another missed tackle, and Davis near midfield. As we look at today's impact players, brought to you by Capital One.
And you're going to try to get the football if you're South Carolina, Mike Davis, as many times as you can. That time, a little swing route. He's caught 33 passes on the year, but they'll turn around and hand it to him in the power game. I love the matchup with Chris Borland, the All-American linebacker, heart and soul of this Wisconsin football team. That matchup of Davis on Borland. Excited to see that play out today.
It is Borland's last game, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. After a gain of 3 for Davis on the reception, Shaw to throw for the 3rd straight play. Has to step up. He can run. Pretty good athlete. And knocked down at the 48-yard line after a gain of about 5. Desmond Southward, playing with a cast on his hand after surgery, made the tackle. Incredible numbers for Shaw.
Well, and the word that comes to my mind immediately when I watch Connor Shaw is efficiency. You can see his completion percentage. He knows where to go with the football. He's avoiding mistakes. That last play is a great example. They release 5 guys out in the route. Nobody's open. Connor Shaw doesn't panic. He allows the rush lanes to develop, and then he uses his feet to convert and bring up a 3rd management situation.
Wisconsin 5th in the country in 3rd down defense. South Carolina with a 3rd and 3. Shaw on the run, diving for the 1st down. Going to be close. Might be short based on the spot.
They run the zone read. Connor Shaw is diving. He had to get across the 45-yard line to get a first down. And I think he came up just a fraction short. And no hesitation from Steve Spurrier as they cross the 50-yard line into Wisconsin territory. He's going to go for it.
Now a timeout call. So South Carolina burning a timeout early to discuss whether to go for it here on 4th down. You're watching the 2014 Capital One Bowl with Brian Griese and Tom Luganville. I'm Dave Pasch in Orlando. A 4th down and 1 for South Carolina. Wisconsin has a huge nose guard, Bo Allen, 6'3", 325. Keep an eye on him against South Carolina centers who struggled.
Yeah, it's Cody Waltrip. And remember, against Clemson, South Carolina struggled to run the football inside the tackles. Mike Davis only had 25 yards on 15 carries. Steve Spurrier can't feel real confident about that matchup, blocking Allen in the middle.
Garrison Gist doesn't play a lot, is in the game at fullback, and Connor Shaw, the keeper, able to move the chains behind his center to get the first down.
It was a natural gap on the inside of the defensive front. Bo Allen lined up almost on the guard. Maybe Connor Shaw recognized it. You see it right here. Here's Bo Allen way over here. And Connor Shaw checks and just says, I'm going to take it myself, and it's an easy conversion.
Davis in the backfield with Connor Shaw. Mike Davis over 1,100 rushing yards, his first carry of the game. And you see his balance, breaking a Brendan Kelly tackle, and he picks up a couple yards.
Mike Davis has had a lot of injuries. Nicks here and there. He had a knee, he had a foot. He wasn't healthy towards the end of the year. I think it was a big reason why he struggled in that Clemson game. But when he is healthy, we saw it beginning of the year, he was on a torrid pace. When he's healthy, there's no question he's one of the best backs in the SEC.
Second down and 8. And Shaw to the air. Everybody covered. Shaw. Eventually a man comes free. It's Jerrell Adams for a South Carolina first down. And a gain of close to 12 inside the 30.
Connor Shaw is one of the best in the country at buying time. He keeps his eyes downfield. He's not panicking, just trying to find an outlet, force the defense to come up and play him, and then flick the ball for a big third down conversion.
We talked about all those quarterbacks in the SEC, Manziel, McCarron, Murray, Mettenberger. Connor Shaw did not even make honorable mention SEC despite his numbers. Here's a blitz off the edge. Shaw gets away from that man and then pushed out of bounds near the line of scrimmage by Brendan Kelly.
Tanner McAvoy, the converted quarterback for Wisconsin. You're going to see him right here just come off the edge. He's playing safety. You've got to be controlled. You can't shoot your gun so fast right there because Connor Shaw is going to bait you and then just get outside. Wisconsin has to adjust as fast as possible to the speed of South Carolina on both sides of the ball. They just don't see this kind of speed in the Big Ten.
We will not see Tanner McAvoy playing that position next year. He's going to be moved to quarterback to challenge Joel Stave and others for the starting quarterback spot in 2014. They bring pressure again off the edge with Caputo. Broke a tackle. Shaw did, then shoved back. And they blow it dead. It's Joe Schobert getting to Connor Shaw. A loss of 6 on the play.
We talked with defensive coordinator Dave Aranda for Wisconsin. He said, we have got to affect the quarterback. They're going to do it with Caputo off the edge. They were creased by Penn State in the last game of the year because they allowed Christian Hackenberg to sit in the pocket and pick him apart. Told us they cannot do that with Connor Shaw. They're going to bring Caputo. They're going to bring Borland and other linebackers to try to get Connor Shaw off his spot.
So it's 3rd down and 16. 10th play of the drive for South Carolina. There's a wide receiver screen, and Shaq Roland is belted. Big hit by Kelly, and it's 4th down. They got back to the line of scrimmage. It'd be about a 54-yard field goal try from here.
You know, these bowl games, especially Big Ten versus SEC, you've got to establish your physical nature. Wisconsin has been outstanding on defense throughout the course of this year, save for that Penn State game, but they have come out with the right attitude and physical approach and aggressive approach in this first drive.
In the top 10 in just about every defensive category. Rather than trying a long field goal, Elliott Fry, freshman kicker, as long as 45. They're going to bring in Tyler Hull to punt. Jerrell Adams is the deep man, and this will sail over his head and into the end zone for a touchback. South Carolina got 20 yards on its first play from scrimmage, but the Wisconsin defense stepped up with hits like this from Brendan Kelly. Badger ball when we return. The champs from the Big Ten, Michigan State, playing in the 100th Rose Bowl game. As the Spartans meet Stanford, cover starting 4:30 today on ESPN. Michigan State with a terrific year. Connor Cook, the quarterback, knocked off Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State playing in the Orange Bowl, and only 2 teams from a conference can play in the BCS. Wisconsin and South Carolina were 2 teams left on the outside, in part because of that loss to Penn State at the end of the year. Still 12 straight bowl appearances for Wisconsin. School record for rushing yards. They're the only school with 2 running backs with 1,000 or more yards. Think about it. This is after Monty Ball left. Changed his name, or the pronunciation of it anyway, to Monte. Second-round pick in Denver. White and Gordon don't skip a beat. And Gary Andersen has done a terrific job in his first year. We might see some different wrinkles for the Badgers today on offense. They will run it here, try to pound. Melvin White, or James White rather, between the tackles, gets a couple. Marquise Roberts on the stop. Here's our impact players with Tom Luganville. Brought to you by Capital One.
Jadeveon Clowney makes so many plays along the defensive front, but his mere presence has opened things up for Kelsey Quarles on the inside. And offensively for Wisconsin, James White is the thunder to Melvin Gordon's lighting. They're going to run right at him.
We're also seeing Jeff Duckworth getting some action as they run White again. And he's out past the 25 for about 5 yards to the 27. They like the speed of Duckworth. They're trying to find a number 2 receiver to help Jerrell Adams.
Yeah, they're going to need to throw the football to loosen up the running game. This defensive front for South Carolina is outstanding. They are very good against the run. We want to find out how Jadeveon Clowney is going to play against a physical team. He's not going to be rushing the passer 25, 30 times in this game. He's going to have to play these power run blocks. So far, he's been getting pushed around.
Here's 3rd and 3. And Gordon with his first carry burst through a seam to the 35. Well, they said they're going to be a little bit different, but the first 3 plays looks like typical Wisconsin football.
Well, you get a pull right here from Costigan, is going to kick out, and that creates the hole for Melvin Gordon. It's going to be downhill. You see Clowney getting blocked by Pedersen, the tight end, and they pull the guard around. You're going to see this on a consistent basis, whether it's James White or Melvin Gordon. They want to run in between the tackles because Wisconsin doesn't feel like they have as much of an advantage on the perimeter.
Here's the wrinkle as they hand it off to Corey Clement, and Clement is loose, the true freshman, inside the 35. It was a direct snap to James White, who is lined up as the Wildcat quarterback, and it's a 33-yard run for Corey Clement.
And Gary Andersen told us they have got to have some of these wrinkles, and the Wildcat with James White, Corey Clement, the true freshman, they're very excited about him. Next year with Melvin Gordon and Corey Clement, I expect to see a very similar style of offense to what we've seen this year with Gordon and White.
Now they go back to 2-back with Derek Watt, J.J. Watt's younger brother, in the game at fullback. They like the matchup with him. On the South Carolina linebackers. Play action. Stave looking for Duckworth, who could not make the catch. He was being defended by Victor Hampton, who did not start today's game for disciplinary reasons.
And these are the throws that Joel Stave has got to make if they're going to win this football game. Nice over the outstretched arm of the linebacker, but you've got to hit this. You run the ball 3-4 times in a row and have good suck up on the linebackers, you've got to make that connection.
Well, you got to make the catch. Throw was a little off, but catchable. Hit him in the hands. 2nd down and 10. Gordon waits for his blockers to get on their defenders. Comes up just short of a first down. Here's Robert Flores in the studio with an update.
All right, Dave, Happy New Year. This instant replay presented by Surface in the Outback Bowl. LSU's Anthony Jennings starting for Zach Mettenberger, who tore his ACL. He completes the opening drive with a short touchdown run. 16-0. LSU leading 7-0 over Iowa on ESPN.
All right, Roflo, Happy New Year's to you. 3rd down and 2 for the Badgers at the 25-yard line of South Carolina.
This is a run down for Wisconsin. You have to imagine 4-down territory as well.
Gordon got a penalty flag on the play, so it'll make it 3rd and 7 for Wisconsin.
False start. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's the left tackle, Tyler Merritt's, trying to get up quickly to block Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, here he is right here. Got a tough assignment.
That'll make you nervous. That'll make you jump.
Redshirt freshman Merritt's has played very well this season, but I don't anticipate they're going to leave him one-on-one in many situations with Jadeveon Clowney.
How about Wisconsin's had 7 offensive linemen drafted the last 3 years, most of anybody in the country. Here's a middle screen. Pedersen tackled immediately on the catch by Kaiwan Lewis, so no gain on the play. It would be about a 47-yard field goal from here, and they're going to try it. Jack Russell's long this season is 48.
That was a great play by Kaiwan Lewis. They had the center, Dan Volz, was releasing to block him on the screen, and if Volz would have gotten that block, there would have been a lot of running room.
Looking to tie, and it's a fake. Drew Meyer on the fake, looking deep into traffic, incomplete. Trying to hit Brock DeSico. That's the 2nd fake punt run by Wisconsin this year. And South Carolina will take over at its 35.
Gary Andersen talked about doing something different, being aggressive to get up in this game. They try it. Very well defended by South Carolina on the back end.
Today on ESPN. The 2014 Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. AT&T. Rethink possible. And the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado.
Both teams this week went to Disney Quest, spending an evening with local area underprivileged kids. Before the break, I said fake punt, of course, meant fake field goal. They tried a fake punt earlier in the year, but that fake field goal doesn't work, and South Carolina takes over.
Well, and they tried to release the tight end, both tight ends, and then one in the flat. But take a look at Chaz Elder and Bryson Williams, the safety. They were in a field goal safe, the right call on defense. They were not fooled. They were in great position to defend that play. Very well done by Bryson Williams and Chaz Elder.
So first down for South Carolina on his 30-yard line. Mike Davis is in to take the direct snap. Trying to find a hole. Cuts it back. Gets a huge block. Davis to the outside. Past the 40 and out of bounds at the 44. Shaq Roland with a big hit to spring a 14-yard run for Davis.
Wisconsin comes out in a little wildcat, and South Carolina does the same. You're going to see Shaq Roland right there on Michael Caputo. Got his head in front. That's textbook. Establish that physical nature on that offensive side, and Shaq Roland, who's been up and down this year, has struggled a little bit. A couple of games suspended, but he has come on strong towards the end of the year for South Carolina.
Connor Shaw back in the quarterback position. First down at the 44-yard line as we near 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Each team has had a possession. Here's Wilds trying to find running room, and he's up to the 48 for about 4. Pat Muldoon bringing down Brandon Wilds, who is back after missing a good part of the season with an elbow injury. They're hoping to find someone that could spell Davis and take up some of those carries at the tailback spot.
Well, they want to keep Mike Davis fresh in this game. They know they're going to need him probably in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So we'll see Brandon Wilds. We'll see Sean Carson, the sophomore, quite a bit in this game.
Here's 2nd down and 6 for South Carolina. Badgers showing blitz. Wide receiver screen to Shaq Roland. Great play by true freshman Sojourn Shelton after a 2-yard pickup. Shelton has really improved according to the coaches over the course of the year.
Well, and he's their best cover corner, but you see his physical nature and ability to get up and make a play. He just got a hand. I'd love to see Shaq Roland run through that arm tackle.
Yeah.
He may have slipped. That field with all the rain that we've had this morning might be a little slick.
Remember, South Carolina doesn't have Demir Bird, who hurt his knee in bowl practice and will undergo surgery, not available today. Shaw on the half roll, and the pass is dropped. Nick Jones could not hang on. Would have been short anyway, so it's 4th down. 4 to go to South Carolina. Go for it here with the ball at midfield, or will it punt?
I think they're going to punt this football, and it's the right call. You don't see that very often from Connor Shaw. Been one of the most accurate quarterbacks, if not the most, in South Carolina history. And on 3rd down, that's his down. He owns 3rd down, whether it's throwing the ball accurately, making the right reads, or using his feet. That last play is not normally what you see out of Connor Shaw.
Tyler Hull punting. Wisconsin comes after that kick. High punt. And the fair catch made near the 20-yard line by Jared Abbrederis. Late first quarter, no score at the Capital One Bowl in Orlando. Dave Pasch, Brian Greasy, Tom Luganville. No score, late first quarter. Brian, let's talk about how Wisconsin will attack and game plan for Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, I think they want to be careful. They want to try to run the ball outside of him. They want him to naturally come up the field and then kick him out. They're going to give him some looks to influence him, right? The speed sweep, make him come up the field to stop that speed sweep. And then you can block him with a tight end, pull the guard, and run inside of him. Now, it's only a matter of time before Jadeveon Clowney figures this out and he starts to crash down inside.
Here's Gordon on 1st down, another big hole. And Gordon leaps past the 30, a 1st down to the 34. Tripped up by Bryson Williams, a 14-yard run for Gordon, who averages a nation-leading 8 yards a pop.
And this is the same play you're going to see. You're going to get Abbrederis. That's going to affect Clowney to go outside. You block him with the tight end, pull the guard around. This is just the power O that Wisconsin has run for years. They're just using that speed sweep to influence Jadeveon Clowney up the field, so they don't have to worry about blocking him.
Run between the tackles again with Gordon, and Clowney trying to make the tackle, but Gordon takes him for a ride. A 9-yard gain to the 43.
Well, they're going to run away from Jadeveon Clowney. Wisconsin knows that they've got to account for the backside pursuit. Did a suitable job there, but to play off of what Brian said, when you're running play side at Jadeveon Clowney, one of the things that you do is let him go where he wants to go. If he wants to run outside and rush outside, block him that way. If he wants to collapse down inside and allow the backs, Melvin Gordon and James White, to use their eyes to play off of where Clowney goes. Let him be what he wants to be.
Here's 2nd and 1. They've run between the tackles 5 times for 38 yards, but Clowney this time is back there to throw. Gordon down for a loss.
You just don't block him on the weak side. You have to block Jadeveon Clowney. He breaks the rules. Here he is right here. Nobody's going to block him on the weak side. You can do this with some defensive ends in the Big Ten that don't have the speed to run that down from the backside. You cannot do it with Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, the Wisconsin coaches told us yesterday there's times where he's out of position. He still makes a play. That time, his great get-off found him in the backfield and a loss, forcing a throw here on 3rd and 2. Pressure, and that pass is intercepted. Intercepted at the 40-yard line by true freshman Skai Moore. Stave was just trying to throw it away as he was facing pressure up the field from Kelsey Quarles, and he threw it right to Skai Moore.
The beginning of games, especially bowl games, you got to be careful with the colossal mistake.
Yeah, that hit the leg of a Wisconsin offensive lineman. It did not hit the ground, so that's a live ball.
You got to throw the ball on the ground there. It's quarterbacking number 1. Let this roll, guys. You're going to see it's defensed. So just throw the ball in the ground. That's the role of the quarterback, is to protect the football. And Joel Stave has had trouble with that. 12 interceptions on the year, and he puts his defense in a bind early.
That a little bit unfortunate, hitting the leg of an offensive lineman. Shaw slips, now fires deep. Going for Ellington. Touchdown, South Carolina. Quick strike after the interception.
Steve Spurrier loves to take shots when you cross the 50-yard line, and when you put on top of that a change in possession, all the recipe for a shot down the field. And Bruce Ellington, his 7th touchdown on the year, he's the man to go down the middle of the field.
And that was the 22nd touchdown pass for Connor Shaw against 1 interception. Meanwhile, Joel Stave throwing his 13th pick of the year. And the extra point makes it 7-0. South Carolina late in the first.
Well, it's one-on-one coverage at the top of the screen. Sojourn Shelton on Ellington. You're going to see it's just a post route. Ellington has the speed to get beyond Shelton. There's no help from the safety. And that's an easy pitch and catch for Bruce Ellington. Wisconsin was carved up by Penn State. 4 touchdowns by Christian Hackenberg. And when you give Connor Shaw this kind of time, he's going to make those plays downfield.
Now the turnover was a killer. Trying to throw it in the dirt. Instead, it hits the foot of an offensive lineman and ricochets right to Skai Moore.
The other thing in that Penn State game is Joel Stave threw 3 interceptions. So when you do that and you give a short field to a team like South Carolina, it's a recipe for disaster.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Tanner McAvoy, who was at South Carolina for a year, then transferred to a junior college, will play quarterback next year. They worked him at that position some early in bowl practices. They're going to move him back to quarterback. You have DJ Gillens, who's expected to enroll in January, that could challenge Stave for that position. Now, Stave's been excellent in the red zone. 15 touchdowns, no picks. But before they reach the red zone, he's had a really poor year. Short kickoff taken by Kenzel Doe. And Doe breaks a tackle. And now picked up and dropped at the 25-yard line. Or near the 30-yard line, I should say, by Kane Whitehurst.
Well, if you're Wisconsin now on offense, especially Joel Stave, you have to erase that last play. And you got to come back early in these games. You make a mistake, you're careless with the football, you got to forget about it. You've got 2 great backs, and you can't go into a shell on offense either. You have got to throw the football. Andy Ludwig, Gary Andersen have to trust Joel Stave to get back in this game.
That right there could be important. An injury to Vince Beagle on special teams. They were hoping to use him more today as a pass rusher on defense. He's shaken up on that last return. Here's White on first down. Spins out of the tackle. Up to the 34. Gain of about 5 on the play. Jordan Diggs on the stop for South Carolina.
Sorry, Dave, you cannot say enough about James White. This is a kid that was in the shadow of Monte Ball, right? And then everybody is talking about Melvin Gordon and a Heisman next year and all these kinds of things. And all James White has done has been one of the most productive backs in the history of Wisconsin football.
7-0 South Carolina after 1. The Capital One Bowl will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC station.
This telecast is available in high definition. Brought to you by Vizio.
Start of the second quarter in Orlando at the Capital One Bowl. Dave Pasch, Brian Griese, and Tom Luganville. It is 7-0 South Carolina on a Connor Shaw touchdown pass. Meanwhile, Wisconsin with no passing yards yet. And they're going to put James White in as the Wildcat quarterback. And he's going to get twirled to the turf by Victor Hampton. They'll give him forward progress to the 32. It's still a loss on the play. Trying anything they can to change things up against this speedy South Carolina defense. White and Melvin Gordon come into this game about 200 yards away from breaking the NCAA record for rushing yards by teammates in a single season. Been a terrific year for those two on the ground, but will it be enough to beat the Gamecocks? So 3rd and 7 now. Stave with time, and it's pulled in for a first down by Abbrederis to the 43-yard line.
Jared Abbrederis came into this game with 73 catches on the year. This 3rd down, they're just going to play zone. South Carolina is, and Abbrederis, one of the smartest players in college football. He will beat you in man-to-man coverage, and he has the discipline to know how to get open against zone coverages. Problem is for Wisconsin, outside of Abbrederis, their second leading receiver is the halfback, James White. They don't have a complement.
They go back to the ground, and a big hole for Gordon. To the 37 of South Carolina. Boy, he gets through those holes quickly. He can run. And now Wisconsin looking to go up tempo, but an official timeout as there's an injured South Carolina player.
Take a look at Derek Watt, the fullback, with a kick-out block on Marquise Roberts. You're going to see if Derek Watt can get to the second level on some of these linebackers, he has the size advantage over the linebackers for South Carolina, and Wisconsin feels very good about that matchup.
Chaz Elder was the one who made the tackle, and you could see him make it with his upper body and his head, and Elder missed some time earlier in the year with a concussion. So he'll go to the sideline as Wisconsin is in South Carolina territory. Gordon with 58 yards for the Badgers on 8 carries so far. He's over 1,500 yards on the season. Now it's White in a tailback. Play fake for Stave. And he's being chased, throws to Pedersen in the middle of the field. Inside the 10. Pedersen all the way to the goal line. He'll come up just short, but it's 1st and goal, Wisconsin.
The Achilles heel for South Carolina has been their coverage from a linebacker position. Take a look at Marquise Roberts. He's got him in man-to-man coverage. He decides, he gets hit by the official, and he decides he's going to run, and he loses Pedersen. Give credit to Andy Ludwig, offensive coordinator for Wisconsin, for drawing up that play during the break to take advantage of a youth at linebacker for South Carolina.
1st and goal. White, the tailback. It'll be a pass. Flag down. Stave throws. Touchdown! Another penalty flag comes in. Sam Arneson with a touchdown catch. But again, there are 2 markers on the play.
Well, Jadeveon Clowney was trying to cover Sam Arneson. It looked like they got tangled up. See what this call is. Wisconsin players seem to think it's on South Carolina.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Both are on the defense. Number 90 lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty's declined. Prior to the pass being thrown, holding on the defense. Number 7, that penalty's declined. Touchdown's good.
So that has to boost the confidence of Joel Stave after the interception. The pass downfield to Pedersen and the touchdown here to Arneson. You can see the hold by Clowney coming off the line of scrimmage. Not much, but there was offside anyway on South Carolina.
If I have Jadeveon Clowney on my team, he ain't covering a tight end. He's rushing a quarterback. I'm not sure what he's doing out there. Like a fish out of water a little bit. Great drive for Wisconsin to answer the drive for South Carolina and get Joel Stave's confidence back in this game.
So is that the South Carolina? 2 programs make their BCS debut New Year's Day. Rice Petty and Baylor against Blake Bortles and Central Florida. It's at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN today from Glendale, Arizona. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Hey, everybody's counting out Central Florida. I would not count out Central Florida. They are explosive on offense. 2 of the best quarterbacks in college football teeing off in that game. And you know, Central Florida is going to score points. You know that. The question is, will they have any answer for Baylor's offense?
You mentioned early in the year, one of our games, that you thought Blake Bortles was better than Teddy Bridgewater, maybe the best quarterback in the country. He'll get to showcase those skills tonight on the big stage. Kickoff taken on the 2 by true freshman Pharaoh Cooper. And he cannot even make it to the 15-yard line. Let's go back to the Wisconsin touchdown.
Great design on this route. You're going to see here's Pedersen. He's going to come out over the top and draw double coverage. And this is Arneson. And this route isolates Jadeveon Clowney. They double team Pedersen. You see it right here. The double team on Pedersen leaves Clowney one-on-one with Arneson. This was a great design from Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, in trying to get Sam Arneson open. Very well done.
Plus, South Carolina's assuming that Wisconsin's going to line up and just pound the ball on 1st and goal.
Well, in the play before that, throwing the ball to the tight end, and this has to be a big part of the game for Wisconsin because the matchup on these young linebackers for South Carolina is in their favor.
From the 14-yard line, Wisconsin brings pressure. A throw out on the flat to Jones, and Chris Borland slams him down about a yard shy of the first down. Borland over 100 tackles, first-team All-American, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and really been a fun guy to watch over the last 4 years. I remember sitting in Brett Bielema's office when he was a freshman, and he said, our crew was in there, goes, hey, I want you to see this kid, Chris Borland. He played video of him jumping over the shield to block a punt at 5'11". He's an incredible athlete, and he's become a great linebacker.
And he's going to play on Sunday. There is no question about it.
Pressure off the edge. It's picked up. Shaw steps up and gets the first down. And then Shaw makes it to the 30-yard line.
Big question coming into this game was how is Wisconsin going to account for the mobility in the feet of Connor Shaw? We've seen it 3 or 4 times already in this game. He hasn't broken out for that long run, but he will break you down. Against Clemson, 7 times he ran on 3rd down for first downs. That is so demoralizing to a defense, and a big part of why Connor Shaw has been so good.
Design quarterback run. Borland can't make the play on Shaw. Gets 5 yards to the 34.
And Brian, to play off of how they're deciding to defend South Carolina, and you mentioned those big runs haven't been given up yet. Defensively, if you watch Wisconsin to the open side, the field side, you're going to see them walk a defender down late off the edge and bring him, which is going to create those one-on-one situations. It's why Steve Spurrier keeps trying to throw that quick screen out there, because they know they've got a man advantage once they bring pressure off the edge defensively.
Now Borland coming here. And he's chasing Connor Shaw, has to get rid of the pass. And coming back to the ball was Shamir Jeffrey, could not make the grab, so it is incomplete. But it was Borland in the backfield, along with Conrad Zagzebski.
Yeah, they want to get Borland matched up on the center. This is the matchup they like. Cody Waldrop has struggled in pass protection. You see the athletic ability of Chris Borland, and when you try to cut him, he is not going to stay down long. He's like the Energizer Bunny, a Tasmanian devil coming after you.
3rd down and 5. Wisconsin number 5 in the country in 3rd down defense. South Carolina 0 for 3 today on 3rd down. They just get the play off. Shaw rolling out. Muldoon chasing. Shaw beautifully dumps it off to Davis for the first down. Davis took a lick, but able to get the necessary yardage to move the sticks.
This is like staring down the barrel of a gun right here. Connor Shaw comes out. You're going to see Muldoon has got him. He just needs to make him come up right there when McAvoy, or it's McAvoy that came up to force that throw, but for Connor Shaw, it's having that gunslinger mentality of you're going to come up and I'm just going to dump it over the top of you.
So 1st down for South Carolina on its 41. And here comes Caputo, and they throw that wide receiver screen out on the flat. That quick toss to Nick Jones. Helmet comes off of Sojourn Shelton, their best corner. He's going to have to come out for a play. A good pickup there on 1st down.
We haven't talked a whole lot about Demir Bird not being in this game. He was hurt in bowl practice, and so Nick Jones has got to become a bigger part of this offense catching the football, and especially on those bubble screens on the outside.
So Peniel Jean will replace Shelton for this play. Must sit after losing your helmet 1 play. Gain of 7 on 1st down. Inside 10 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. Tied at 7. A touchdown pass for each quarterback so far. Here's a little option pitch to Davis. Trying to cut it back, and he swarmed at the 49-yard line, short of the marker by about 2 yards. And Davis continues to hobble. Brian, you talked about the injuries. Only 22 rushing yards against Clemson. Did not play in the previous game. He was one of the best backs in the SEC, if not the best back, before the injuries caught up to him at the end of the year.
Well, that's a shame. That's a bad sign for South Carolina because Brandon Wilds is reliable and Sean Carson is young. Neither one of them have the explosive ability of Mike Davis.
Davis, second team All-SEC. Wisconsin crowding the line of scrimmage, and they're going to run it here. And getting the first down is Brandon Wilds. Knee was down, but he got the first down at the Wisconsin 47-yard line.
The thing that Wilds does bring to the table is a physical downhill runner, 225 pounds. He's going to drive those legs, and Wisconsin was there initially, but in short yardage situations, it's not about the initial hit. It's about wrapping up.
Wild stays in the game. 9th play of the drive for South Carolina. They've had some lengthy drives here in the first half. The quick drive was the touchdown pass right off the interception by the Badgers. Here's pressure off the edge. Shaw steps up. Great recognition by Shaw, sensing the pressure from behind. Let's check in now with Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Dave, here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. Louisville quarterback Teddy Bridgewater foregoing his final season and will enter the NFL draft. That, according to college football insider on ESPN, Brett McMurphy. Bridgewater could be in the conversation for the #1 overall pick held by the Texans.
You buy that, Brian? #1 pick, Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, if I were Rick Smith, GM of Houston, he would not be my selection, but he's an outstanding football player. There's no question about it.
Bill O'Brien, the new head coach there. 2nd down and 7. Shaw. And finds his tight end, Jerrell Adams. Great open field stop by the 175-pound corner, Sojourn Shelton, who's back on the field after having to sit for one play after losing his helmet.
Well, Sojourn Shelton is the kind of player that you can begin to build the defense for the future around. 6 out of 7 seniors up front for Wisconsin, but they're going to have players like Sojourn Shelton in the secondary. Peniel Jean going to be back. Caputo's just a sophomore. They will lose Desmond Southwood in the back end, but no question Sojourn Shelton is going to be a star for Wisconsin for years to come.
South Carolina has converted on 3rd down twice on this drive. 3rd and 4. Shaw hit as he throws it deep for Ellington. Ellington with an incredible grab. What a catch inside the 10 by Bruce Ellington. 1st and goal, Gamecocks.
You watch Bruce Ellington in pregame warm-ups, and he practices these catches all the time. Waits till the last minute so Desmond Southwood doesn't turn his head around. And that's just an innate sense. There's some receivers in college football that could, not many. Bruce Ellington did it to perfection.
Wisconsin calling a timeout. 32-yard pass play. Looked like he secured the catch all the way to the ground. 32 yards. It'll be 1st and goal when we come back. Bruce Ellington, 3 catches for 91 yards. Ruled on the field a catch. The ball does hit the ground, but does he maintain possession? Mark Perlman, Pac-12 line of scrimmage supervisor, with us in the booth. It can hit the ground and still be a catch, correct? What do you think here?
I think it's a catch. You can secure the ball, and even though it touches the ground, as long as you secure it, it's still a catch because you have possession.
I don't think they even reviewed it upstairs.
Yeah,
they did not.
They confirmed it.
So 1st down and goal. Here's Pharaoh Cooper, and it's a reverse. And now Ellington throwing for Shaw. Touchdown! What a play by South Carolina. The head ball coach with a great design. Steve Spurrier dials it up. The reverse. And then Cooper pitching it to Ellington for the throwback to the quarterback.
And I think that's a sign right there of Steve Spurrier's respect for who Connor Shaw has been. All the sacrifices. He said, you know what, I'm going to draw up a play for my quarterback. There he is right there saying thank you. I'm going to draw up a play for him to have some fun in his last game in a South Carolina uniform.
And looked like a bad snap there. So they're not going to get the conversion. Either a bad snap by Culbertson or a bad hold by Patrick Fish. Hard to tell they're live, but no conversion. It remains 13-7.
Well, Bruce Ellington had to run downfield. Looked like it was doomed here for a second, but then look at the arm of Ellington on the money.
He is a point guard on the basketball team. He can dish it.
The 2014 Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy. And Lexus and their pursuit of perfection.
That's been a great week here in Orlando. Bands from both universities participating in the activities at the Florida Citrus Parade. Excellent turnout here at the 2014 Capital One Bowl. First meeting between Wisconsin and South Carolina. Missed extra point on a bad snap, so it's 13-7 Gamecocks. Alan Menard, who's had trouble keeping kickoffs in bounds, will boot it deep. This will be a touchback. It'll come out to the 25-yard line.
Well, we know the old ball coach likes to have fun in the break. Let's take a look. He was teaching acting school. You're going to see right here Bruce Ellington come downfield to sell this. Look at the patience of Ellington to sell that and then come back. And then look at the acting job by the quarterback. Right here is Brendan Kelly. As soon as he sees Kelly with his head to the other side of the field, he knows that he's got him beat. Great execution there.
Hey, he was a little upset with Gary Andersen for making the joke at the luncheon yesterday about Clowney being faster than all the police escorts in town. Clowney getting 2 speeding tickets in the offseason. Actually, Spurrier, Clowney, and everybody else in the room laughed when Andersen said it. As Clowney is there, or excuse me, Holloman rather, to take down Gordon for a loss back at the 23. You don't see a lot of negative runs by Melvin Gordon at 210 pounds, but and now Kyle Costigan, the right guard, losing his helmet, so he has to come out for a play. So Zach Mathias replaces him for 2nd down and 12. Clowney shaking up.
Too, yeah. He's coming out of the game. Looked like he's holding that right arm or shoulder.
It's his last game. Going to go to the NFL. Here's White. Great stutter step at the line of scrimmage by White. Got the first down to the 35.
And with Clowney out, they go right to his side. Let's take a look at the last play and see what happened. Oh, he came down, and he's the one that caused the helmet to come off of Costigan. But that was a violent collision. May have got a stinger on that shoulder. This is the last hurdle, right? He's been through the entire season. He's had a few nicks here. The rib, which was much publicized. This is his last hurdle. You want to see him get through this game healthy.
And Gordon able to push the pile for a few yards. It all started 365 days ago. Outback Bowl, the big hit. And people started talking as Wisconsin goes up tempo. Should Clowney even play this year? He wasn't eligible for the draft. No gain there. Holloman with a stick on Gordon as Clowney returns. And there were some people that questioned Clowney this year. Question his toughness, question his work ethic. Some in the NFL are wondering why aren't the numbers there. Steve Spurrier says, look, he was double teamed just about every play. That opened things up for Kelsey Quarles, who had an incredible year. And you think Clowney still is the best?
I don't have any question about Jadeveon Clowney, about his toughness, what he's shown to me this year. The people at the next level that are questioning the numbers, I don't buy that. Everybody that knows football knows what's been done to Jadeveon Clowney from a double and triple team standpoint this year. He's the best player in college football, hands down.
He's getting quadruple team there as the pass on 3rd and 6 is caught by Brian Wozniak, and he appears to have another Badger first down.
Great job in protection here. Take a look at how Merritt's gets help from the tight end. Great design for Wozniak to get a chip on Clowney, then release into the flat. An accurate throw from Stave allows him to get his shoulder pads upfield and get a big 3rd down conversion.
Well, he's been battling bone spurs in his right foot for a long time now. He had that strained rib muscle where he didn't play against Kentucky. That irked Steve Spurrier because of the timing and also because Connor Shaw played in that game 1 week after injuring his shoulder. It was a serious injury. It looked like it might be long term, but Shaw was back out there. Back to the ground game, and a beautiful move to the outside. White inside the 35. He stepped out actually back at the 41. Stepped out of bounds at the 41, but it's still a Wisconsin first down in South Carolina territory. A 14-yard scamper by James White.
Well, the question coming into this game was, could Wisconsin continue to run the football against a physical front for South Carolina? This SEC defensive line with Quarles and Clowney, so far they have been up to the task. 127 yards in this first half. It's been Clement, it's been White and Gordon between the tackles. I think you're going to see more of that the rest of this game.
127 rushing yards for Wisconsin so far. They average 283 a game. Here's Gordon with a hole inside the 30, and then Gordon slipped as he tried to take on Victor Hampton. Ryan Groy, their best offensive lineman. First team all Big Ten left guard with the big block.
Well, Lorenzo Ward, the defensive coordinator, deciding to bring some pressure to try to stop this running game. But Wisconsin has the perfect run call away. They don't even have to block 3 defenders on the weak side. And it's 12 yards before Gordon's even touched. Great adjustment for Wisconsin to that blitz from South Carolina.
We saw Victor Hampton talking some trash afterwards. Second team all SEC corner. Junior, but likely playing his last game. Going to the NFL. First down inside the 30. Keep it on the ground with White, and Clowney gets him from behind, but it's after a gain of about 6 yards. Are you surprised Wisconsin's been able to run this easily?
Well, the biggest surprise to me so far is where's Kelsey Quarles? He's the guy in the middle that has been the run stopper, has been the most valuable. He's not even in the game right now. He's on the sideline with his helmet off, and so Wisconsin's taking advantage, going some up-tempo here, keeping Quarles on the sideline and just gashing him in between the tackles.
Here's second down and 4. And they hand it to Watt, the fullback. South Carolina not expecting that. And he gets the first down to the 15. Gain of 7 for Derek Watt.
And South Carolina's on their heels right now. You're going to see 3 guys on the outside for the speed sweep. And a nice changeup. Watt doesn't normally get carries on the inside. That could have been a touchdown if Marquise Roberts didn't save that tackle. But Wisconsin right now does not have an answer. They're going outside. Wisconsin's going inside. They're out of sorts.
Well, South Carolina doesn't have the answer. Offset backfield. Just inside the 15-yard line. Play fake. Stave going for Abradaris. Throw off target. Hampton in coverage.
Right now, South Carolina is tired. Look at the hands on the hips. They're having their will imposed right now by Wisconsin. And if you're Andy Ludwig, don't take your foot off the pedal. Keep running at the point of attack. Challenge their will. They're not used to seeing this type of offensive scheme in the SEC. They're tired, and it's neutralizing pass rush when that play-action pass comes around.
Run-pass ratio 2-1. 19 rushes, 9 passes so far. Gordon with 10 carries, 73 yards. Here he is again off right tackle, upended at the 11-yard line, so about 3 there. Jimmy Legree. These corners come up and aren't afraid of contact, and Legree made the hit there.
Well, Andy Ludwig decided to take a shot on first down to Abradaris off play action, but he did that thinking that he could run the football 2 subsequent downs and get a first down. But this brings up 3rd and 6 situation where they've got to throw the ball to convert. The guy they love to get the football to is Pedersen, the tight end.
Abbrederis detached from the line of scrimmage. He's the inside receiver. Stave. And the pass is caught. What a catch. Short of the first down, though. Excellent grab by Alex Erickson, excuse me. Only his 9th catch of the season. He paid for it, but hung on to the ball despite the low hit by the corner Legree. Now it's 4th down, and Wisconsin's going to go for it.
Outstanding effort from Erickson there. That's a dangerous play. Obviously, Legree goes low. He doesn't want to go high to get a penalty, but there's no question they're going forward here on 4th and 1. Watt in front of Gordon. So you like this decision? Absolutely. It's Gordon, and he has the first down. It'll be 1st and goal at the South Carolina 3. 47 seconds left in the half. Wisconsin still with 2 timeouts remaining. Now the clock will restart when they set the ball. As you see the Wisconsin training staff looking at Erickson. You'd like to get that play called quickly in the huddle to get up so you can run the ball, have the option to run the ball if you want to.
14th play of the drive. They still have 2 timeouts, so they can run it. And here's Gordon, ran into a teammate, got back to the line of scrimmage, and now the Badgers have to use one of those timeouts. That'll leave them with 1 timeout. Go Lightly and Lewis team up on the tackle. It'll be 2nd and goal with 22 seconds remaining in the half when we return.
Capital One presents Capital One Bowl Impact Performances. January 2nd, 2006, Wisconsin's Brian Calhoun is a one-man wrecking crew on the ground, scorching the Tiger defense for 213 yards, including a 60-yarder, 27-yarder, and a 17-yarder to help set up the Badgers' first 3 scores. Calhoun caps off his big day with a 33-yard TD to seal Wisconsin's stunning victory over Auburn. For more great Capital One Impact performances, tune into the Capital One Bowl, January 1st on ABC.
Watching the 2014 Capital One Bowl from Orlando. Dave Pasch, Brian Griese, Tom Luganbill. 13-7. South Carolina leads. Wisconsin with a 2nd and goal on the 3. Badgers have a timeout. 24 seconds left. What are the options on this play?
Well, you can do whatever you want if you're Wisconsin. I think this is a perfect opportunity for play action. You know, we saw the touchdown to Arneson off of play action, but maybe you get the fullback in the flat, Watt or James White in the flat. But you got to think that South Carolina is going to be expecting run. So play action for Wisconsin would have sting.
Quarles is in for South Carolina. He was out for most of the drive. And it is play action. Stave hit by Clowney and throws it away. Clowney got pressure on the quarterback. And now it's 3rd down. You still have your timeout. 19 seconds left in the half.
This is a great job by Victor Hampton. They got a little bit of pressure from Clowney. They wanted to throw the throwback screen to the tight end, but Victor Hampton stayed home at his corner spot and took it away.
So was that the same play they ran on the touchdown earlier?
No, different. They brought the tight end from the other side. It was just well defensed by Victor Hampton. Now here you still have the run game in your pocket because you have the timeout.
Stave to throw. They double team Clowney, and Stave throws end zone. Touchdown! Jeff Duckworth. Only his 11th catch of the year, 2nd touchdown. The coaches told us yesterday he would play more today. They liked him against some of these South Carolina corners and hoping he would help Abbrederis as the number 2 receiver.
Well, give credit on this touchdown to the offensive line for Wisconsin because Duckworth came from the opposite side of the field and gave Stave enough time to find Duckworth across the field.
Their point after is good. South Carolina botched its point after attempt, and the Badgers lead by 1.
If you're going to throw the ball, here's Duckworth. If you're going to throw the ball all the way across, you've got to have time up front. Take a look at the protection for Stave. He doesn't panic. They get a chip on Clowney. You step up, and then he crosses the field. A great job of Stave finding him in the front of the end zone.
Yeah, because Clowney still impacted that play. Stave had to move to his right and found the open man. So after the interception, Joel Stave has looked really good for the Badgers. And the interception again was off a deflection on an offensive lineman's leg when he was trying to ground the ball.
16 plays there, 75 yards, and you kind of got the sense that South Carolina, at least on the offensive side, was going to start to get this thing rolling. And the last thing Wisconsin wanted to do was give them another shot before halftime. But for them to go down and answer and take the lead into halftime was huge.
Wisconsin just used its final timeout here.
Well, we thought coming into this game it's going to be all the ground and pound for Wisconsin. But you know, when you come in to play an SEC style defense, you're going to have to make plays in the passing game. And Joel Stave has missed some, but he's hit some as well. And the 2 touchdown passes inside the 5-yard line is the difference in the game.
So what's the adjustment for South Carolina? They're light at the linebacker position, and we've seen Badger running backs get to the second level and offensive linemen get to the second level as well.
I think Lorenzo Ward needs to settle his defense down at halftime. They've been trying different things to stop the running game. I think they just need to play solid defense, not try to bring pressure, bring blitzes. They just need to play strong up front, and they've got to get Kelsey Quarles into this game. He's got to get to the quarterback. It can't be all Jadeveon Clowney. Quarles has got to affect the quarterback.
So 13 seconds left. See if Endicott kicks it deep, or if we have a squib kick here. A semi-pooch kick, and Wisconsin covers it well at the 20-yard line. Sidney Rhodes was there for South Carolina to pull it in. Didn't get much on the return. Florida State Seminoles, led by Heisman winner Jameis Winston, look to complete their undefeated season in style and claim their first title since 1999. Facing Auburn in the Vizio BCS National Championship. Coverage begins January 6th, 8 Eastern on ESPN. You'll head out there, be part of our studio coverage on ESPN leading up to the BCS National Championship game, the final BCS Championship game. They've got Dylan Thompson in, a quarterback, just to take a knee here. And that ends the first half with Wisconsin on top by 1 because of the missed extra point by South Carolina. And the Badgers will get the ball to start the second half. Here's Loogie with Coach Spurrier.
Well, Coach, what's creating problems for you defensively starting from the run?
Well, they've gashed us a few times, but you know they've made some crucial third downs, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7s, or else our defense playing pretty well. But it's a fast game, 4 possessions, both teams. I don't know what'll happen second half, but, you know, anybody can win it.
How pleased are you with the production of your balance offensively in the first half?
Well, we hadn't run particularly well, but we hit a few passes here. Connor Shaw was having a heck of a game, and Bruce Ellington, he just makes big play after big play. But, yeah, we got to stay out there offensively and defense, get better on some third downs.
All right, Coach, thanks.
All right.
Connor Shaw, 11 of 13, 133 yards and a touchdown. But South Carolina down a point. When we come back, we'll join Chris Fowler in Pasadena. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
This is Capital One Bowl Week.
Throws, touchdown! Oh, touchdown! What a play! Throws end zone, touchdown! Jeff Duckworth. You're watching the 2014 Capital One Bowl. From Orlando, Dave Pash, Brian Greasy, Tom Luganbill at halftime. Wisconsin on top by 1 thanks to a botched extra point by South Carolina. Wisconsin terrific offensively after the interception by Joel Stave. For the entire half, the run game worked. The Badgers averaged about 7 yards per carry against South Carolina's good defense.
Yeah, ended up with 160 yards in the first half. And I think the biggest key for Wisconsin run the football has been getting to the second level. Those linebackers, a lot of young linebackers for South Carolina. And when you get the fullback and guards up to that second level, take a look at This is Jacob Pedersen on the second level getting a great block, which frees Melvin Gordon. And then they've had to neutralize Jadeveon Clowney. Here you see Clowney come down, and they get the pinch block there by the tight end, and then another second level block guard on the second level linebacker, and allows James White to make a move on the second level. But South Carolina's got to find a way to neutralize that front if they're going to have success in the second half.
Now what about South Carolina on offense with Mike Davis banged up? We'll see if he plays. He did not return after leaving midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, I think it's got to be the Connor Shaw show in the second half, much like the game they played against Clemson, where Mike Davis only had 25 yards on 15 carries. It became Connor Shaw's game to win in the second half. And I think as a senior, with everything that Connor Shaw has done in his career at South Carolina, there is no other way he wants to have this game on his shoulders to go out a winner in his last game.
Last game for him, last game for Jadeveon Clowney, last game for Chris Borland, some of the best players in college football. James White as well, his last contest as a Badger. Kenzel Doe, Kyle Zuliger are deep. Wisconsin will start an offense here in the third quarter. And it's taken by one of the up men at the 20-yard line on the poor kickoff. It was Brian Wozniak. He takes it out to the 35 for the Badgers. Our first half stats, we talked about the run game working for Wisconsin. Steve Spurrier upset with the lack of run game by his team. Pretty even time of possession. And the one turnover, the interception by Stave, where in fact he was just trying to ground the ball and it hit the leg of an offensive lineman and ricocheted forward to Skai Moore, who intercepted it. Melvin Gordon will start the second half in the backfield with a tight end blocking for him. And Gordon again, great burst through the hole. Grabbed by Lewis at the 41, but it's a 5-yard gain for Gordon.
Well, in South Carolina defensively, where's Kelsey Quarles? They have got to get more production from Quarles. He came into the game leading the SEC with 9.5 sacks, 13.5 tackles for loss, and he's been absent so far. I expect him to pick up his game in the second half.
He's going against a pretty good guy too, Ryan Groy, left guard. Here's White, and he's got a first down. Wisconsin picking up where it left off in the first half, running on the Gamecocks.
Two of the best defensive linemen in the SEC, Quarles and Clowney. Watch them get down blocked. This is an outstanding offensive line for Wisconsin. No surprise there, but Merritt's and Ryan Groy having their way.
And now Victor Hampton, watch him make the tackle here. He gets hurt on the play, and he's still down for South Carolina after that 14-yard run by James White. So as they look at Hampton, we'll step aside. South Carolina's lacking depth at corner because Ahmad Christian transferred, and the starter Victor Hampton shaken up. You see he gets up after the tackle on White, and they don't have it in the shot, but he did go back to the ground. They looked at him. He was helped off the field. We'll see if he returns. And so Rico McWilliams, a redshirt freshman, is in replacing him. Jadeveon Clowney had a stinger suffered in the first half, according to our own Tom Luganville, but he's back out there. First down for the Badgers at the 45. They will run it again, and another hole for White. Looking to make moves inside the 25. Finally run out of play inside the 15.
Starting to smell of desperation here for South Carolina. You're going to see two guys blitz, and there's a huge lane for White. Lorenzo Ward, the defensive coordinator, trying to find what's going to work. So far, he hasn't had any answers. And Wisconsin's just sitting back, doing what they do best, and allowing the defense to come to them and making the proper adjustments and calls on each run.
You saw Costa again, the right guard out there on Marquise Roberts, the linebacker. That's about a 90-pound advantage for the guard. That was a 32-yard run, and now Stave being chased from behind by Clowney, slips and lost a yard on the play.
This is the third or fourth time where Wisconsin has gotten into the red zone on first down, and Andy Ludwig, their offensive coordinator, has chosen to try to take a shot to the end zone off of play action. It hasn't worked yet. If I'm If I'm Andy Ludwig, I'm going to continue to run the ball. I mean, they're running the ball 7-8 yards a clip right now. No reason to try to throw the ball to stop it.
And Gordon is in there now. 2nd down and 12, so a 2-yard loss on the last play. South Carolina with 8 in the box. Here's Gordon, and he stumbled. Dives to about the 11-yard line, close to the 10. So 3rd down and long coming up for Wisconsin. Hampton back on the field for South Carolina. Badgers have been pretty good on 3rd down today. 4 out of 7.
Yeah, you heard Steve Spurrier right before the half saying that's the thing that's hurt us the most is not getting off the field defensively on 3rd down. They have got to get some pressure on Joel Stave. You can't rely on Clowney because he's going to be double teamed. You got to get Quarles up the middle.
Got Abrederis on Legree at the top of your screen. Stave to throw. Steps up. Hit. Sack. Chaz Sutton gets to the quarterback and takes him down back near the 17-yard line. 4th down.
Chaz Sutton just ran over Rob Havenstein, the right tackle. You're going to get one-on-one every single 3rd down. If you're Chaz Sutton, you got to take advantage. That time he used the speed to bull move and got Havenstein off guard. Good play. Got that hand up around the face mask. He was lucky that wasn't a penalty.
Jack Russell on for a 35-yard field goal attempt. They faked a field goal in the first half of a 48-yard try. They kick it here, and Russell puts it through. He's 9 of 12 on the year, and the Badgers extend their lead to 4. Take a look at our Capital One Academic All-America player, Demir Bird, who made this year's All-American District team with a 3.59 GPA in sports and entertainment management. Unfortunately for Demir, he was hurt in bowl practice, knee surgery, and he's one of their key players. 33 catches, 4 touchdowns, a speed guy. Ellington has stepped up, almost 100 yards receiving for Ellington in the first half, but Mike Davis a little banged up. South Carolina needs all of its weapons in the second half.
Yeah, and it's going to be a passing game for South Carolina by all intents in the second half. We're going to need Shaq Roland to step up as well.
Short kickoff from Endicott. Here's Pharaoh Cooper on the 5-yard line. Cooper past the 20 and ripped to the ground of the 25. We talked about the injury to Mike Davis. Here's Tom Luganbill.
Yeah, Mike Davis got stepped on, kind of tweaked his foot just a little bit there in the first half. He's been told he's been 100% good to go. We should see him here on this series. Now, he's not good to go. That severely hampers this run game, guys, because now you've got Brandon Wilds in his stead, who doesn't bring the same explosiveness that a Mike Davis does. So let's see if he's 100% good to go, because they got to have him to have any semblance of a power run game.
3 carries, 17 yards for Davis. Over 1,150 yards on the season. 7 100-yard games for Davis. Marcus Lattimore's replacement. He might be better than Lattimore. First down on the South Carolina 25. And Shaw on the keeper. And he fumbled the ball. Recovered in bounds by Wisconsin. Derek Landish forced the fumble, and it's recovered by Ethan Armstrong around the 30-yard line.
Great play by Derek Landish. The quarterback, when he runs the ball, defenses are taught to go for the strip because they don't have quite the ball security that running backs do. Great job there by Tanner McAvoy keeping that ball in bounds. Heads up play from the former quarterback. Big turnover.
So the Badgers, with their first takeaway, will have it at the South Carolina 31.
If you're Wisconsin here, you have to resist the urge to try to throw the ball down the field. Just keep doing what's been working, which is running the ball, pounding it inside.
They'll give it to number 25. Melvin Gordon into a wall of South Carolina defenders at the 27-yard line. That's a 4-yard pickup. Gordon comes in, averaging 122 yards per game on the ground. He has 92 today, under 6 yards per carry. Second team All-Big Ten. He's sophomore this year. Thought about going to the NFL, but elected to come back. Gary Andersen told us yesterday he thinks that was a good decision. That Gordon definitely will benefit from another year of college football. Here's 2nd and 6. They'll keep it on the ground. Gordon again slammed down, and now a penalty flag. Gordon appears to have the first down, but let's see what the penalty marker is. There was a Wisconsin player on top of Jadeveon Clowney, who's slow to get up.
Somebody tackled Kelsey.
Holding. Offense number 49. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's Sam Arneson. I think when Quarles went down, Clowney went down with him.
Well, when you have a tight end that's trying to block, I think this is Arneson here in motion. He's going to try to block. That's Pedersen. Actually, Arneson's on the weak side. He comes over and tries to seal Kelsey Quarles, and he just gets caught. And it's an unfortunate because it's not really a hold. But when Quarles goes down and takes Arneson down, the umpire, all he sees is 2 guys on the ground, and that's an automatic key for him to throw the holding flag.
So now 2nd down and 16, and they're out of field goal range here. Quarles jumped offside, so a free 5 yards for the Badgers. Has not played well today after 2.5 sacks in South Carolina's
defense,
last game.
Number 99 enters the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Well, he's talking about this being his last game going to the NFL. Well, he finished strong. Steve Spurrier talked glowingly about him when we spoke to him this week. Hasn't been his best day, though.
He's an outstanding football player, and as you mentioned before, he's going against a really good player in Ryan Groy, the left guard. Still a lot of football left to play.
Early 3rd, 4-point Wisconsin lead. Looking to add to it after the takeaway. Stabby. Aberderis on the catch inside the 25. What a career for Aberderis, a former walk-on quarterback. First team All-Big Ten 2 straight years. Among the school leaders in all-time receiving yards. Going to the Senior Bowl.
He represents what's great about college football. Really, a former walk-on, outstanding football player. He's earned his stripes at Wisconsin. He's a guy they might want to look to here in 3rd down, but they're going to go with the Wildcat with James White.
This worked in the first half a couple times. White, and he's taken down as Skai Moore, true freshman, really has come on. Ended up leading South Carolina in tackles. Going to be a good linebacker. And South Carolina made the stop. It's 4th down, and here comes the field goal unit.
Well, finally, South Carolina gets a linebacker to make a play, but Skai Moore wasn't blocked on the play. It was an easy play for him. Where they struggled is these linebackers, Moore, Sherrod Golightly, T.J. Holloman, when they get blocked by Watt and these offensive guards, it's been a tough day.
43-yard attempt. Russell hit from 35 earlier. And this one is no good. Wide to the right. So South Carolina holds after the turnover inside its 35-yard line. The kick wide right, and it remains a 4-point Wisconsin lead.
The 2014 Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by the Quicksilver card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. And Cadillac.
Congratulations to Rocky the Bull, the 2013 Mascot Challenge winner. Mark Mentry, the luckiest man on earth, getting to shake hands with Rocky the Bull there. Check presentation.
What did he have to do to win that check? Was that the Mascot Challenge?
Yeah.
Did they have the obstacle course set up, or what was it?
He did it all.
You don't know.
Barrow Cooper running the Wildcat, a true freshman in at quarterback. He gets to the 28. Let's go to Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Dave, update on the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl. Georgia pulling closer against Nebraska. Hudson Mason to Todd Gurley. Little screen pass turns into a touchdown. Right now on ESPN2, 24-19 Nebraska, 4th quarter.
Here at 17-13 Wisconsin, midway through the 3rd. Connor Shaw back at the quarterback position after Cooper ran the Wildcat. Here's pressure from Wisconsin. Shaw's pass caught. First down. Jones near the 38-yard line. It's a new coaching staff for Wisconsin, including defensive coordinator Dave Aranda.
Yeah, and I think Dave Aranda really wants to change the way that they play defense. They've made the switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4. But in talking with Coach Aranda last night, he said, you know, we're not built to rush the passer. We're not built to stop the passing game. That's what they struggle with against Penn State, giving up over 340 yards through the air. He really wants South Carolina to run the ball. He's more concerned about the arm in the passing game of Connor Shaw today.
First down, and Shaw will throw. Has time and wide open in Wisconsin territory. Shaq Roland for the first down. That's what you're talking about right there.
And I think, yeah, this is the nightmare for Dave Aranda. It's one-on-one, throwing the ball down the field. Shaq Roland really coming on late. You can see how soft Sojourn Shelton in this secondary is. They're concerned about giving up the deep ball. I don't think Steve Spurrier is going to make a big living in the second half running the ball. It's going to be Connor Shaw and his arm.
Aranda told us yesterday, if we were playing Iowa, it would be great. Nothing against Iowa. It just meant a team that's two back, run the ball between the tackles, play action. You don't get that with South Carolina. Wisconsin stacking the box. They're hoping to disguise some coverages. It looked like there was a hole backside. The pass incomplete. Boy, on the pressure, looked like McAvoy was getting held, but no flag. And it's second down and 10.
And that's what Dave Aranda was telling us. In order for them to affect the quarterback, they can't do it with 3 and 4 defensive linemen. They have got to bring linebackers and secondary players like Tanner McAvoy. They've got to isolate Chris Borland on matchups. They just don't have those kind of pass rushers, so that exposes them on the back end.
Second and 10 at the 47 of Wisconsin. Shaw finds Ellington near the 40-yard line and close to 100 yards receiving on the day. The linebacker Chris Borland on the tackle. So here's a critical third down. Out of field goal range from here. South Carolina looking to keep the drive going and get Wisconsin's defense tired, keep Wisconsin's offense on the sideline.
And this is where you have got, if you're Wisconsin, you have to account for Connor Shaw running the football. Whether it's a spy with Borland, that's where he can kill you.
Penalty flag down. Wisconsin trying to confuse and cause a false start. May have done just that.
Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
They show like they're bringing the inside backers, then you see somebody come from the outside. That forced movement, so.
They wanted to try to confuse Connor Shaw as best they could in this game. They didn't want to allow Shaw to check at the line of scrimmage or Steve Spurrier to check from the sideline. And so the plan coming in for Wisconsin on defense was to disguise and try to devise ways to get to the quarterback. That time they confused the right guard, Ron Patrick.
Tough to confuse the senior quarterback starting for his 32nd time. There comes both safeties, and then you see Muldoon come into the backfield. Another false start. Boy, both safeties.
Boy, Robinson.
False start. Offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And the Wisconsin crowd here in Orlando going nuts, as are the players on the Badger sideline.
Yeah, here he is right here, and both safeties are going to come. He saw it. He wanted to get out of his stance to block Muldoon. Having mental breakdowns now on the offensive side. Connor Shaw, as that senior leader, has got to settle them down, make sure that they have their assignments correct.
Is that the weakness of South Carolina, that offensive line?
You know, I think it is, because they've been so good at the skill positions. They've been their weakness in the run game specifically.
Now it's 3rd and 15. Shaw in trouble. Gets away from one man, dumps it off complete. Wild's tackled in the open field by Beagle, short of the first down at the 44-yard line. It was Landish in the backfield that got to Shaw first. And now what do you do? 4th down at about 6. Do you go for it here? Shaw still on the field.
This is that gray area of the field, 44-yard line, where Steve Spurrier, he knows, listen, the best player on my team, most consistent player on my team has been number 14. I'm going to give him a chance to make a play here, and if nothing there, I know he can use his feet to get me a first down.
They have to get to the 37-yard line. 4th down. with time. Tipped, caught. Ellington pulled it in somehow at the 22. The pass was off the mark, but Bruce Ellington with a whale of a play.
Second huge catch from Bruce Ellington. This is undoubtedly SportsCenter top 10 material to tip that ball, to flip his hips, and just get a hand on it in that concentration, get his feet in bounds on a 4th down play, down 4 in the second half. What a play by that young man.
22-yard pass play. Ellington has been their best offensive weapon today. They run Sean Carson here. He doesn't get much. Bo Allen and Borland team up on the tackle after a gain of 1. That type of play by Ellington, even though it's not a touchdown, that could potentially be a game-winning play. Allow them to convert on 4th down. It doesn't give Wisconsin the ball near midfield, and now they keep that Badger offense on the sideline for more time.
Well, that ball wasn't very well thrown. It was thrown behind him. Ellington was open. If the ball was put on the sideline, just a great adjustment. Ellington, as Coach Spurrier said right before halftime, all he does is make big plays for South Carolina.
2 Sparks stars, starting point guard of the basketball team. Wisconsin coming after Shaw here. Shaw going for Ellington again. He got it. Is he in? Touchdown! Ellington again, and a great throw by Connor Shaw. 22 yards. Carolina back on top.
This time Connor Shaw put it right on the money. Same route. Great footwork. Tippy-toe around the pylon by Bruce Ellington. Great recognition from Connor Shaw to see he had one-on-one man coverage. Ellington on the safeties, Desmond Southward. Easy pitch and catch for the touchdown.
And clearly a touchdown as you looked at Ellington's feet there. Skip inside the pylon. Now the extra point. It's good from Elliott Fry, and it's 20-17 Gamecocks.
We knew the second half this game would be on Connor Shaw's shoulders. He needed a receiver to step up, and Bruce Ellington's done it all year.
As a bit
6 catches, 140 yards, 2 scores, a touchdown pass, all for Bruce Ellington. But the play of the day was on 4th down.
Yeah, 4th and 9. This ball not thrown very well, but a great adjustment. And then South Carolina comes back with the same play issue, man-to-man coverage. That's Ellington on Southward. Great recognition from Connor Shaw, and this time puts it out in front of the wide receiver. It's an easy pitch and catch for the touchdown. Bruce Ellington, only a junior. He's coming back next year. Think about the talent that South Carolina is going to have on this roster next year. They only lose the quarterback in Connor Shaw, but they have Dylan Thompson, and they lose a right guard. Everybody else is back.
5 seniors on this South Carolina team. Of course, several juniors will go pro, including Clowney, as Kenzel Doe gets walloped at the 25-yard line. All right, time now for today's AFLAC trivia question. 2 of the last 5 players to assume the title of Mr. Irrelevant, that's the last pick in the NFL draft, have been South Carolina Gamecocks. Can you name them?
Oh, boy. I think I know one. Kicker, right? All right, I have no idea.
I thought one was a tight end. This guy will be the most relevant player at the NFL draft, perhaps the #1 pick. Houston. By the way, J.J. Watt is here.
Yeah, I saw him before the game. I was talking to him. He was interested. Obviously, he's here to see his brother. He surprised his brother, Derek, who's a fullback for Wisconsin, but he had significant interest in how number 7 in red was going to play, especially against the run.
Stavi off play action, and he'll take off. And, boy, he gets nailed. Instead of sliding, Victor Hampton got a shot in. You got to get down, son.
Well, Stavi's a big man. My goodness. We saw Logan Thomas from Virginia Tech take a similar hit like that in the bowl game. These guys are sizing you up. When you're a quarterback and you're 6'6" and you're just lumbering in the second level of defense, those guys are marking you up. You've got to get on the ground.
You slid every time. Correct?
I tried not to run.
Gordon bottled up. It was Jordan Diggs for South Carolina. Rare that they get Gordon only a 2-yard gain. It's 3rd down and 3.
South Carolina's flipped the momentum in this game. They did it. Big play on 4th down. Give Steve Spurrier credit for going for it, trusting his playmakers. And now their defense has gotten in. And again, we see a 1st down play-action pass from Andy Ludwig. Be unsuccessful. Now they bring up a big 3rd and 3 here. They have got to stay on the field.
South Carolina fans getting into it. Play clock down to 1. They're going to run it on 3rd and 3. And White has the 1st down and more. Pushed out at the 42-yard line. Wow, big gain there on 3rd down and short.
Great job by the left guard, Ryan Groy. You're going to see him. He's going to come up and get the block on Marquise Roberts. If you get the offensive line to the 2nd level right there, it's advantage Wisconsin. That's what they did in the 1st half. That's what Wisconsin has identified as their biggest mismatch. And they've got to stick to that, especially on 1st down.
Ryan Groy's had an excellent game again today. Here's a throw to the flat. Abradaris through a seam. Into South Carolina territory near another 1st down. He had 2 blockers out there, and he ran right between them after he made the catch. And now Wisconsin going up tempo.
And one of the blockers out there is a fullback. Nice job.
And there's the jet sweep from Gordon off the no huddle. And Gordon pushed out at the 35. We didn't know how many jet sweeps we'd see from Wisconsin because of the speed on the outside for South Carolina. They got their quick game going and ran it there, and it was a big play.
I love the speed sweep in a hurry-up situation as we see Joel Stave go down on one knee. Looks like he's holding his shoulder there. I'm not sure what happened.
I wonder if it was from the initial hit with Hampton. It's just taking a while for it to set in, because that was a huge hit that he took earlier on the drive. Now, Curt Phillips, how about this story with Phillips going in the game? He's had 3 ACL surgeries. He didn't even play in 2010, 2011. Remember, last year, Stave was hurt for the Rose Bowl, so Phillips played for most of the game. Badger fans will tell you it seems like Curt Phillips has been there since Randy Wright was the quarterback of Wisconsin, and Phillips was a backup.
Let's take a look at the last play. Take a look at Stave. He's just handing this ball off. That's his left. And he just grabs that right. I think you're right. I think it had to be from that hit from Victor Hampton. Clearly something wrong with the right shoulder from Joe Stave.
Well, he broke his clavicle last year.
Yep.
And Curt Phillips had to play. And so now, what a great story this could be for Curt Phillips, battling through all the injuries. Now a chance to go win the game for his team as Stave will go back to the Wisconsin locker room.
And if you're Curt Phillips coming in this situation, you don't have to be a miracle worker here. You've got a great running game going in this game. Just manage the football game, protect the football.
He's thrown 2 passes all year. Gordon, and again, he pushes the pile of the 33-yard line. Only a couple there. Kelsey Quarles in there for South Carolina. 6th-year senior. Curt Phillips, you look at the numbers for his career. Again, 3 ACL surgeries on the right knee.
You got to think, for South Carolina, Lorenzo Ward, the defensive coordinator, now's the time to start selling out in this running game. You have got to get the safeties involved. Bryson Williams, Dietrich Marcus, they need to be up around the line of scrimmage, because there's not a whole lot of threat of throwing the football at this point.
It's Gordon again, and look at his patience, waiting for the center, Dan Bolts, to get out there on his man, and Gordon comes up just short of a 1st down. So it'll be 3rd down and short when we start the 4th quarter with South Carolina on top by 3, 20-17. The Capital One Bowl will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC station. Jack Russell from 42 yards. Right now the difference, South Carolina on top by 3. Let's go ahead and answer today's Aflac trivia question before we start the 4th. So we're the last 5 players to assume the title of Mr. Irrelevant. That's the last player drafted Justice Cunningham was the one that I was thinking because it was just this year. But Ryan Suckup, you remember that one, 2009? Huh?
Well, I remember it because Broncos playing the Chiefs. You see Suckup quite a few times.
So 3rd down and 1 for Wisconsin. Curt Phillips in for an injured Joel Stave at quarterback. Ball inside the 25 of South Carolina. The Gamecocks with 10 guys around the line of scrimmage. Here's Gordon. And Gordon appears to be short. The Dietrich's Marcus on the stop. 4th down. From here, it's about a 42-yard field goal. That's where Russell missed from in the 3rd quarter. You going on 4th down?
Yeah, I think based off of that miss earlier in the game by Jack Russell, the way that they've been running the football, best unit on this Wisconsin team today has been this offensive line up front. Give the ball to James White, Melvin Gordon, inside the tackles. Trust your offensive line.
It is Gordon behind Derek Watt. 4th down and a yard. Again, 10 men in the box for South Carolina. And it's Gordon, and he will not make it. Jerrell Adams was there first for South Carolina. A great stand by the Gamecocks.
They brought Jerrell Adams off the edge. I don't know if it was the tight end or the fullback, Derek Watt's responsibility. But you got to block the edge. You have to secure the edge. If not, you're going to get the back in the backfield. That play had no chance.
Yeah, that's my kind of night.
The Big Ten champion Spartans, led by Connor Cook, are their first Rose Bowl win since 1988 as they play in the 100th Rose Bowl game against Stanford later today, about an hour from now, over on ESPN. They pass Brian Greasy, Tom Luganville. 4th down, Wisconsin elects to go instead of trying a 42-yard field goal, and it fails.
Yeah, it looked like Golightly came off the edge. There he is. It looked like Derek Watt was just late in recognition. The other thing on this play was Jadeveon Clowney came off hard. You wonder about his ability to play the run game. He stands up, merits, blows off Derek Watt off track, and significant pressure on that 4th down.
Shaw throwing on 1st down, and a catch made by Roland. And it's another 1st down. Why not kick the field goal? You missed the 42-yarder. I get it earlier, but it's a 3-point game. You know they're going to stack the box there, put 10 men at the line of scrimmage. Want to take your chances that your field goal kicker is going to come through.
Well, your field goal kicker didn't come through in the previous attempt, number 1. Number 2, you've rushed for 251 yards in this game, and you've blown this South Carolina defensive front off the ball consistently. I don't have any qualms with Gary Andersen's decision right there. It's just the execution.
Mike Davis hasn't had a lot of touches today, and he gets to the 41-yard line. Zagzebski in there, Borland as well for Wisconsin. It'll be 2nd down and long. Badgers play in the Rose Bowl each of the last 3 years. Lost all those games. They're 2-0 in Capital One Bowls. Last time they were here was Barry Alvarez's final game. Remember, he actually came back and coached the Rose Bowl last year, but his real final game when he was the head coach. 2006, they beat Auburn. And they knock off South Carolina today. The Gamecocks with a 3-point lead, seeking their 3rd straight 11-win season. They never won 11 games before 2011. Steve Spurrier deserves a world of credit for what he's done with this program. As Shaw airs it out in the double coverage. What a catch! Shaq Roland!
Great concentration by Shaq Roland. Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin, told us his worst nightmare is when teams just throw the ball up down the field. That's how Allen Robinson had over 100 yards receiving from Penn State, and that's exactly the scenario that Roland had in that play.
49 yards there. You saw acrobatic catches by Ellington on the last drive. Now back to the ground, and Davis stood up at the 8. It'll be 2nd and goal from there. Ethan Armstrong on the hit.
Wisconsin just doesn't have that ball hawk in the secondary. Sojourn Shelton is their closest guy, but he's a true freshman. He's 5'9". That was Caputo, who's going to be a good player. He's 6'1", but he's just a sophomore. He's more of a run support guy. Neither one of them play the football, and Shaq Roland goes up and makes a great play.
You have to wonder, too, how important Wisconsin getting a stop is to go down 10 with a backup quarterback. You don't even know if he can complete passes. Thrown only 2 all year. Trying to lead your team from 10 down. An important sequence here for Wisconsin's D. Option. Shaw pitching late. Davis. And he's inside the 5. Armstrong again on the stop. 3rd and goal from the 4 coming up. What a start to 2014. Got a great day, a great weekend of college football on ABC and ESPN. Third and goal. Play action. Shaw lobbing it. Got him in. Touchdown, South Carolina. Jerrell Adams. And it's a 9-point Gamecocks lead.
That surprised me that Adams was that wide open, because on 3rd down you have to anticipate that they're going to throw the football, and Adams lined up on one side and just released through the line of scrimmage all the way to the other side of the field, and backup safety Nate Hammond had him in coverage. Couldn't stay with him.
What a day for Connor Shaw, his final game as a South Carolina quarterback. One of the all-time greats at South Carolina. The extra point makes it a 10-point lead. Connor Shaw, 3 touchdown passes, giving him 24 on the year. Just 1 interception. He also has a touchdown catch. But it was the defense that helped Shaw on this drive, getting the stop on 4th and 1. Clowney blowing up the play. And it's a 10-point South Carolina lead as you're watching the 2014 Capital One Bowl.
This telecast is available in high definition. Brought to you by Vizio.
South Carolina fans, the Gamecocks kick off the 2014 regular season at home against Texas A&M exclusively on the SEC Network. Go to secnetwork.com and request the network from your TV provider.
What a way for Johnny Manziel to go out. Wasn't that a great game against Duke last night? Who's going to play quarterback? That'll be an interesting opening matchup between A&M and South Carolina. Who's going to play quarterback for the Aggies?
And where is Johnny Manziel drafted? In the spring.
I think he did nothing but help himself in that game last night. Throwing the ball down the field, the accuracy that he threw the ball with. He just needs one GM to take a chance high in the 1st round.
Here's Kenzel Doe on the return. Across the 25, and Doe! Pass midfield! Breaks the tackle! Exactly what the Badgers needed! The kick return for a touchdown! '91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and Wisconsin is right back in it. Their starting quarterback is hurt. Their backup, Curt Phillips, has not played a lot this year, although has a lot of experience. They needed a spark, and they just got it in the return game. After the special teams have been problematic today with the missed field goal. Badgers quickly back within 3 with a ton of time on the clock.
There may not be a whole lot of speed on this Wisconsin team outside of the running back position, but plenty of speed from Kenzel Doe. A few blocks, springing to the 2nd level, and the stiff arm tiptoes into the end zone.
Yeah, that's my kind of night.
You're watching the 2014 Capital One Bowl. A thrilling game here in Orlando. South Carolina's lead cut to 3 on a kick return for a score by Wisconsin.
That was great design. We don't often talk about the design of kickoff return blocking, but what they're going to do is they're going to double team number 3 right there. He's the man responsible for the lane that Doe is going to run through. Great design. You kick him out, and where does Doe go? Right in that lane. Great design by Wisconsin, who identifies the way that South Carolina likes to cover kicks and kicks out number 3 with the double team.
Last kickoff return for a touchdown for Wisconsin, 2010. Gilreath against Ohio State. Doe, a 91-yard return to pull the Badgers within 3, and now Endicott will kick off. Pharaoh Cooper, a dangerous return man for South Carolina. But he gets nailed at the 10-yard line and slammed down. Let's go to Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Dave, check out the finish between Georgia and Nebraska in the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl. Georgia going for it on 4th down. Arthur Lynch can't hang on to it. And then in the Outback Bowl on ESPN, LSU and Iowa, John Loudermilk of Iowa. He picks off an interception, but did not take it the entire distance, dropped it at the 1.
Here it's a 3-point game, Robert. Big hit by Schobert on special teams. South Carolina has to start at its 12-yard line. Momentum favoring the team from the Big Ten. Worst starting field position of the day. South Carolina late getting Pharaoh Cooper, the 11th man on the field. The play clock is at 12. Gamecocks may have to burn a timeout here.
That play clock's at 5 now.
They bring Ellington in motion. And here's Shaw hurdling a defender. And up to the 18. Let's check in with Tom.
Well, Joel Stave, the Wisconsin quarterback, finally brought out of the locker room with what they're calling a shoulder strain at this point. They just wanted to examine him, take some time. He is out of the game. And as you guys have mentioned, with Curt Phillips, limited reps. South Carolina's made some adjustments within their defensive front. They shifted down and got into some 5-man fronts, locking up the gaps. Running the football has not been as easy in the latter part of that 3rd quarter and early part of the 4th quarter. So they better come up with some answers, Wisconsin, on offense.
There's the hit by Victor Hampton where Stave should have slid. Now you got the Wildcat. Cooper taking off on 2nd and 5. Got the first down, it appears, at the 22-yard line. So they'll move the chains here for South Carolina. 10 minutes to go in the 4th. Gamecocks on top by 3.
This is a big drive for Connor Shaw. Steve Spurrier knows Connor Shaw, he's going to put the game in his hands. They're not going to get conservative, not going to go in a shell. It's a 3-point game. 4th quarter of his last game in a South Carolina uniform. Best playmaker on the field. This is right where Connor Shaw wants this game, in his hands in the 4th quarter.
See what kind of looks we get from Wisconsin's defense as well. They've been trying to disguise and confuse Connor Shaw, who's going to go deep. Single coverage down the sideline, and the pass is on the money to Roland. Great throw by Connor Shaw to the 44 of Wisconsin.
What a dot from Connor Shaw. That ball could not have been thrown better. Right foot clearly in bounds. That was tight coverage. Sojourn Shelton was in good position. Plenty of speed to run with Shaq Roland. You just can't defend the perfect pass. And that's exactly what Connor Shaw put on Shaq Roland.
And a good move, too, on the sideline to avoid the bench. 33-yard catch. And South Carolina is back in Wisconsin territory. Roland suspended 3 games earlier in the season for a violation of university policy. They needed him today with the injury to Demir Bird. Shaw finds Shamir Jeffrey, and he gets knocked down. Michael Caputo, one of the most improved players on this Wisconsin defense, made the play. 2nd down and long. Orland was there too.
And I don't know what's going to happen after this game for Connor Shaw in the NFL. I know he wants to go to the NFL and have a chance. I think he'll get his chance, but certainly he can look back on his career at South Carolina and say, I did everything I possibly could for my team and laid it all on the line.
Shaw to throw again, steps up to run. He's got Green in front of him, heads for the sideline, and great footwork to get the first down. Think about it, Connor Shaw has never lost at home. And over the years, Steve Spurrier, as there's an injured Badger, Steve Spurrier, there'd be times where he would pull quarterbacks in the middle of drives, but there's a trust with Connor Shaw. It's hard to start 32 games for Steve Spurrier, and it's hard to win 26, maybe 27 of those 32. But Shaw has done that. Back in a moment.
The 2014 Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. Allstate Insurance, proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands? And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Some terrific offensive plays in the first game of 2014. Tonight should see some good offense as well as Bryce Petty battles Blake Bortles, Baylor, and Central Florida. And the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Of course, the Rose Bowl on ESPN. Stanford, Michigan State in about 45 minutes. Here, South Carolina clinging to a 3-point lead. Connor Shaw today 7 completions of 20 yards or longer. Almost a perfect game for him. 3 passing touchdowns, a touchdown catch. He'll hand it off here. Davis is loose in the secondary. To the 20-yard line, a 14-yard run.
Just when you start worrying about Connor Shaw, you're going to get the inside zone to Mike Davis. They have 2 guys on the outside. Caputo, the safety number 7, worried about the perimeter run with Connor Shaw, and Mike Davis, the sledgehammer inside. Difficult to stop.
11 first downs in the second half for South Carolina.
You know, we might be in this game watching 2 of the Heisman frontrunners going into 2014. Mike Davis will certainly be in the conversation if he can stay healthy, and Melvin Gordon on the other side for Wisconsin.
There's Shaw, and he's to the 10 before Borland makes the stop. Close to another first down. It is a first down, so first and goal. Can the Badgers get a stop?
Take a look at Mike Davis right here. He's going to get the fake, but then he's not going to get it. He's also going to get a block that's going to free Connor Shaw. Unselfish nature of Mike Davis right there to get that block on Tanner McAvoy. That's how you get +1s on offense. Is you have players that go beyond just the call of duty to carry out my fake. I'm actually going to get a block too.
8th play of the drive that started at their 12-yard line. And in 4 minutes, they're at the Wisconsin 10, first and goal. And here's the handoff to Davis. Stretching for the goal line. No, he's just short. It'll be second and goal on the 1. And Davis hurt again.
Boy, you get the feeling, at least I don't know about you, watching this game, that Mike Davis was not 100%. He looks like he's in a lot of pain.
Well, he was shaken up in November and fought their injury. We saw him get banged up a couple times today. And boy, we were there for the Marcus Lattimore injury when South Carolina lost its heart and soul last year.
Well, he went down, and there were guys on the back of his legs. And you always wonder about the ankles. Take a look at his right leg.
Got rolled up on there by Beagle. Landish was there too for Wisconsin.
You hope in these situations, obviously you don't think that he's going to be back in this game, but you hope in these situations that this isn't a break but just a sprain. But clearly that right ankle got rolled up on. Such an outstanding talent. Is such a great kid who burst onto the scene. Really, we didn't know anything about Mike Davis coming into this football season. And as you said, through the first 8 or 9 games of the year, he was the best back in the SEC, hands down.
I'm going to shake it off. He might be back in this game. Has to sit for at least 1 play because of the injury. Brandon Wilds will replace him. We'll see if Davis can return. Got stepped on in the first half, was out for the remainder of the half, but came back early in the second half.
And you saw Chris Borland, the linebacker for Wisconsin, come up and give him a pat on the back. Great sportsmanship from the middle linebacker. He's that kind of guy you want to have on your team. He's going to hit you as hard as he possibly can in the hole, but he's going to help you up after he knocks you down.
Can he make a play here? For Wisconsin to go down 10, you can't keep relying on kick return at some point. Got to get a stop. Keep it a one-possession game as we near 6.5 to go. Connor Shaw, quarterback sneak. Borland did make a play. He got Shaw from behind, wrapped him around. The ball may have come out as well. Hard to tell, though, in that pile whether it came out. Wisconsin's got the ball. Bo Allen has it in his hands, but they're saying third down. They're saying third down, so no fumble. And again, it's almost impossible to really review this in the middle of the field.
The linesman came in shaking his head, saying no fumble. Look at Borland go over the top. He was anticipating that quarterback sneak. It looks like right here when he goes to extend the ball.
Was he in? Did he get the ball across? Or was forward progress ruled stop before he stretched it out? So they're going to look at this here to see if he got in. And let's go ahead and check in with Mark Perlman, who's with us in the booth, Pac-12 line of scrimmage supervisor. Is that a touchdown? Did he get the ball across that time?
Yes, that last shot they showed. The ball clearly was in there when he stretched it out, and then they ripped it out of his hands.
And forward progress was not stopped in that situation.
Correct.
That's interesting because the linesman came in and he did not signal touchdown, but he did not signal fumble. If he felt like that ball didn't get across the line, the goal line, he should have ruled it a fumble. But I think, you're right. When you come back on review here.
There, he's across there.
Yeah.
That's a touchdown there.
And like you alluded to earlier, it's very difficult to see in that big mess on the angles.
That would be his 5th touchdown that he's accounted for today. 3 passing touchdowns, a touchdown catch, and now a rushing touchdown. Ruling on the field is that he's down, so it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn that. But it looks like that's a touchdown.
Yes.
And if that's the case, that puts Wisconsin down 2 scores with 5:48 on the clock and their backup quarterback in the game. And you wonder, can they run the ball? Can they continue with their offense of running Gordon and White if you get down 10 points? Or do you have to say, Curt Phillips, I know you've thrown only a couple passes, but hey, you're going to have to go out and sling it.
After further review, the runner in full possession of the ball penetrated the end zone. Play results in a touchdown. Timer, set the game clock to 6:22.
That's huge for South Carolina. And again, can Wisconsin run its offense with 5:48 down 2 scores, or do they have to rely on Curt Phillips to make plays throwing the ball?
Yeah, I think you're right, but Connor Shaw, what doesn't Connor Shaw do for this team? I mean, all he does is throw the ball with accuracy. He scores touchdowns with his feet inside 2 or 3 yard line, catches touchdowns all year long. Connor Shaw has been the engine that has driven this South Carolina offense and their team for that matter. And it's a credit to him in his last game. He's going out and stopped.
The 10-point South Carolina lead. They put time back on the clock. Remember, the clock ran, but since it was overturned and it was a touchdown, they added about 30 seconds onto the clock. And so a 10-point lead. Connor Shaw, another brilliant performance. Kid's thrown 1 interception all year, playing in the SEC, playing Central Florida, playing Clemson.
Yeah, unbelievable year for Connor Shaw. And like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I know I think he's going to play in the NFLPA postseason game out in California, the All-Star game. And whether he gets a shot as a free agent or something, or gets drafted in the NFL, I don't know. He's actually talked about wanting to go to officer training school. If football doesn't work out, he took a skydiving expedition in the summer with a couple of his friends and fell in love with it. He's talked about getting into parajump school, the Army or Navy. I mean, what a great story Connor Shaw has been for college football and for South Carolina. It's the kind of kid you want to root for.
You think about all the big name quarterbacks in the SEC. like Johnny Manziel and A.J. McCarron. But Connor Shaw is meaningful to his team and as valuable to his team as any of those guys. Trying to win 11 games for the third straight year. It's never happened before at South Carolina. But they still have to close out Wisconsin. Kenzel Doe just returned to kick 91 yards for a touchdown. And here Doe goes, trying to get to the outside, but South Carolina had the sideline covered that time. Still decent field position around the 31. Watch Florida State take on Auburn in the Vizio BCS National Championship 8 different ways on nearly every network with BCS Megacast. Coverage begins January 6th at 8 on ESPN. For all the ways to watch, visit ESPN.com/Megacast. Our own Tom Luganville will be involved with BCS Film Room and ESPN News. Brian Greasy will be out working Sports Center and studio throughout the BCS National Championship.
Can't wait for that game. It's going to be an unbelievable game. So many subplots and storylines to follow in that game. Florida State, highly ranked defense. Will they be able to slow down that Auburn offense?
They're going to run Gordon here. He gets to the 35. How many times can you do that, though? Down 2 scores. Gain of 3. Again, Curt Phillips coming in for an injured Joel Stave. Phillips has battled injuries throughout his career. Went 2 straight seasons without playing because of knee injuries. He did play in the Rose Bowl last year. Only 2 passes thrown in the regular season coming into today. And their huddlings, they took a lot of time off the clock there.
I'm Andy Ludwig. I'm going to get the screen game involved here. Your best players are your backs, but you need to throw the football and get your quarterback confident. Screen's a great way to do it.
And James White has been silent as a receiver today. They're going to hand it off to White here. And White picks a hole and has the first down. To your point, White on the season has 37 catches. Melvin Gordon has just 1. It'll be interesting to see if now is the time where maybe they try to get Gordon involved in the screen game. They're going to go up tempo here. Clock at 5.5 and counting.
I think they want to get that first down, and then they were going to get into the no-huddle scenario. Your weapons here, obviously outside of the backs, are the tight end Pedersen and Aberderis. Those are the 2 guys.
Phillips throws complete to Duckworth, who gets out of bounds at the 48-yard line, a gain of about 4.
And if you're Curt Phillips, your mindset, I got nothing to lose here. It's my last game. My career hasn't gone the way I wanted. I got beat out by Joel Stave, but I'm going to take my best shot in the bowl game here. I'm not going to hold anything back.
Still outside 5 minutes of the clock. Runs on the ready for play. After going out of bounds, Phillips pass deflected by Clowney, incomplete. You know, we talked about the stats, and they may not be there, but as you look at pressures per game for Jadeveon Clowney, the numbers are almost identical from a year ago when he had 13 sacks.
You're telling me you wouldn't take that with the first pick?
I didn't say that. Don't look at me.
You can't double team a guy forever in the NFL. He's going to get his chances, and there's no question he's going to get to the quarterback.
I mean, 5 guys to block Clowney and J.J. Watt in Houston.
I tell you what, I talked to J.J. Watt before the game. He was excited about the prospect of having that man to protect him a little bit.
3rd down and 6. Phillips dumps it off. Here's White out in space, and a nice play by Skai Moore. He's short of the first down, White, but Wisconsin in a situation where it has to go. At least they're in a manageable 4th down situation. Remember, they went for it on 4th down and 1 earlier in this quarter at the 25-yard line and did not pick it up. Quick snap. Phillips pass deflected, incomplete. South Carolina takes over on downs. They're saying it actually was picked off by Kaiwan Lewis on the deflection. South Carolina ball regardless.
And again, it's you-know-who. You can't throw the ball quick on the outside and not have to get it around. Jadeveon Clowney looks like it hit his helmet that time. There was 3 defenders that were closing on that route. That pass was doomed from the beginning. But Clowney 6'6". I mean, the throwing lane, it's almost impossible right there, trying to get the ball to Duckworth. And if you don't get Clowney on the ground, you're not going to throw it past him.
Barrett's tried to cut him, and Clowney just jumped right over him.
The combination of size and athleticism right there, and that's using your head. Literally.
Well done. And here's Shaw, and Borland wraps him up, and MMA style takes him to the ground. Wisconsin will use a timeout. So Likely the final time that we will see Jadeveon Clowney, and I know the guys Reese and then on SportsCenter, Scott Van Pelt, John Boudreaux last night talked about the legacy of Johnny Manziel winning a Heisman Trophy. Well, the expectations were enormous for Jadeveon Clowney after the tackle last year, a year ago, in the Outback Bowl. What's his legacy on college football?
Well, I think he's changed college football in a lot of ways. I mean, he is that once-in-a-generation kind of talent. We knew that. But the way that he's been defended as offenses try to block him has changed the way that college football has been played against South Carolina. I think he's that combination of talent. Certainly, I think the people that look at him and say your stats weren't good enough this year or he took plays off, I think those are people, quite frankly, that don't know the game, that don't know how players are defended, how they affect games. You look at the numbers that Kelsey Quarles had. You look at how this defense has gotten better as the year has gone on. They lost 4 starting linebackers from a year ago, and those guys needed time to get brought up to speed. Jadeveon Clowney requires so much attention. He made everybody on that defense better. I think that's how he needs to be judged.
Any concern? You get the 2 speeding tickets over the last 3 weeks. Any concern about that if you're a scout or a GM when you're thinking about making him the #1 pick in the draft?
Zero. I have zero concern about speeding tickets. That happens to any of us, right? Maybe not 110.
Oh, Wilds fumbled the ball. Wisconsin's got it. Wilds coughed it up right to Darius Hillary. The Badgers aren't done yet. They'll look at it to make sure Wilds wasn't down before he coughed it up.
There is no quit in number 44 in white. Take a look. Chris Borland comes in, puts his helmet, shoulder pad right on the ball.
That's his 15th career forced fumble. Among the all-time leaders in college football with his 15th forced fumble.
He's just a football player. He's a playmaker. Remember, we thought Wisconsin was dead and buried in the Arizona State game. He was the one that came up with the fake punt. He's a playmaker in the 4th quarter, and he's done it again.
You still have the same issue, though. Your backup quarterback in. Hasn't thrown a lot this year. They're going to run it here, though. Gordon. And Gordon with a nice cutback to the 43. Clock is not your friend. 4.5 and counting, and you used the timeout on defense, so 2 left. Again, how many times can you run the ball in this situation?
You know, the last series they tried to throw the ball quick, and the throwing lanes were tight. 2 balls tipped from Curt Phillips. Take a shot down the field to Aberderis. Maybe he goes up and makes a big play. Maybe you get pass interference, but you need a big chunk.
Taking a lot of time by huddling there. Go out of the eye. It's Gordon again. Got a gap inside the 30. Gordon to the 25, a first down. The clock will stop as they reset the chains. Derek Watt, JJ's younger brother, fullback, out there blocking for Gordon. That's a 17-yard run. Gordon around 150 rushing yards today. They get up to the line quickly here. Down 10. White is in the backfield, and Phillips will throw. And not a good throw. Incomplete, trying to hit Jordan Frederick, who appeared open. 3:43 left. Wisconsin down 10. Clowney to the sideline for now.
If I'm Andy Ludwig, call plays up in the box, I know exactly who's in the game. If Clowney is on the sideline, I'm going to take my shot to throw the football, knowing I don't have as much pressure.
Well, he was injured in the first half, but came back, suffered a stinger. I don't know if he's just getting a rest here, though. 2nd down and 10. Phillips to the air. Has time. This time he delivers a strike to Aberderis right at the first down marker. They're going to spot him just short. It's 3rd down. 3.5 to go. Wisconsin going up tempo.
3rd and short, but you still have the inside run game here to James White. Doesn't get it. Still going for it on 4th down.
Clowney not in the game, but they'll throw on 3rd down and short. Phillips, end zone, it's intercepted. Picked off Skai Moore. That's his 2nd interception of the game.
Phillips had Jacob Pedersen. They had exactly what they wanted, a two-deep defense. He needed to put the ball. You're going to see Pedersen's going to come from outside. The ball needed to be put back here, but it's thrown behind him, and that gave Skai Moore an opportunity to make a great play on the ball. There comes Pedersen. That ball needed to be thrown more towards the goalpost. It was thrown behind him, and Moore makes a very athletic play to seal the game for South Carolina.
You also had the check down White open to get the first down at 3rd and 1.
And it's difficult as a backup quarterback. You don't have these reps. You don't have the timing. You know, if he had that opportunity, he would throw that ball more towards the goalpost, and they might have had a touchdown. But as it is, give Moore credit for making an outstanding interception.
Again, just 2 passes thrown all year for Phillips coming into today. Davis wrapped up. They're trying to rip the ball out. McAvoy makes the tackle. Wisconsin only has 2 timeouts remaining, and they use one here. Fans tune into ESPN3 for the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One immediately following the game. You know, Brian, Steve Spurrier is known for what he did at Florida, obviously winning a national championship. But think about what he's done with his South Carolina program. They win today. It'll be their 3rd straight 11-win season. They never won 11 games in any season prior to 2011. And South Carolina was a program that was a middle-of-the-pack to lower-tier SEC program when he took over. And they're in contention every year now. And he's getting great recruits like Jadeveon Clowney to come play at South Carolina.
Well, and next year could be the year for them, right? If they can get consistent play from Dylan Thompson. We were talking with Coach Spurrier after the graduation of Connor Shaw. It'll be Dylan Thompson's team, and he's going to have a stacked offense. And on the defensive side, they've played so many young players this year. Yes, you're going to lose Quarles. Yes, you're going to lose Clowney. But you're going to have so many young players with experience coming back. South Carolina is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the SEC East.
This offensive line, which had its ups and downs, most of them will be back. Only 5 seniors on this team. Connor Shaw pinned by Connor O'Neill. Again, Wisconsin, with 1 timeout, will use it here, so they're out of timeouts. 3 minutes to go. South Carolina in command with a 10-point lead. All right, in case you're just tuning in, here's what you've missed. 2014 Capital One Bowl. South Carolina get off to a 7-0 lead, but Wisconsin led at halftime because of a missed extra point. Gordon and White with 250 rushing yards, so they set the NCAA record for rushing yards by teammates in a single season. Clowney made his presence felt, but Connor Shaw 5 total touchdowns, including 3 through the air, and he caught one.
No surprise, the efficient game that Connor Shaw had today. He's been doing it all year. 22 out of 25, over 300 yards. And an appropriate way for Connor Shaw to go out. Got a little love from his head coach with this reverse pass. Scored a touchdown, threw 3 of them, ran for 2 of them. Outstanding season, outstanding career for Connor Shaw in South Carolina.
Results in a touchdown.
And remember, Brian, you know, going forward, no BCS. The rules change. The rules are unknown. A playoff committee is going to come up with the 4 best teams. And there's nothing to say that they won't pick 4 SEC teams. And South Carolina probably this year would have been left out because it looks like there's a clear-cut 5 or 6 teams ahead of them. But they're the only school to beat 2 teams playing in BCS bowl games. As Shaw keeps here and takes another shot at the 16-yard line.
Well, and you think about the 2 games that they lost. I mean, obviously the game against Tennessee, a hiccup on the schedule. If not for a great catch by Marquez North, the wide receiver from Tennessee, they win that game, and they played Georgia before they had all the injuries, and that was a back-and-forth game. They end up losing 41-30, but South Carolina, there's no question, is playing some very good football at the end of the year. They dismantled Clemson. There's no question about it.
And the perception of the Big Ten with the playoff committee going forward. How will that impact a school like Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin in 2014? Style of play. We talked with Gary Andersen about needing to do some things differently as Wisconsin comes after the punt, almost gets there. And a fair catch made around midfield with 2:10 left. Wisconsin down 10 out of timeouts. But Andersen told us, look, we've got to adjust. We've got to change some things if we're going to compete in the Big Ten consistently.
Yeah, and I think I give Gary Andersen a lot of credit. He came in, difficult situation. Obviously, the athletic director is the former head coach, and their relationship has grown. Gary Andersen is respected by everybody on this team and in Madison. And I think he has now the footing to start to make some of these changes. Traditional Wisconsin football, the proof is in the pudding. It's not been working on January 1. The last 4 years, they've lost. So now Gary Andersen has kind of that footing to start making some changes. He wants a mobile quarterback. He wants an aggressive defense. Those are things that they haven't had in the past outside of Russell Wilson. He wants to get back to that.
Phillips' pass was thrown out of bounds, but they're going to get Victor Hampton for interference here on Abradaris. That'll be a first down. Wisconsin needs a touchdown and needs to get the onside kick. Actually, could get a field goal here on this possession and still recover the onside kick and have a chance to win, but no timeouts.
Pass interference, defense, number 27, holding the receiver. First down, spot of the foul.
Now put the ball around the 44-yard line.
He's taken a couple of shots underneath on Victor Hampton, and Victor Hampton's one of those corners, very aggressive, loves to jump routes. Even in this situation, I think he jumped. If I'm Wisconsin, I'm going to throw a double move right now to Abradaris on Victor Hampton, see if I can get him to bite.
He's in press coverage. Keep an eye on it here at the bottom of your screen. Phillips trying to set up a screen instead of the tight end, and Pedersen is loose. He's to the 30-yard line. Another first down, so the clock will stop to move the chains. 1:58 left. No timeouts for the Badgers. Clock starts on the ready for play. Phillips going to work. And again, Clowney knocks it down as merits the unenviable and impossible task of trying to keep Clowney from getting off the speed.
Everybody talks about the sacks, but as a quarterback, this is just as frustrating. You got a guy wide open on a bubble screen or on a slant, and you try to throw the ball in the direction of Clowney, and at 6'6", and with that wingspan, very difficult.
But the clock stopped on the incompletion with 1:50 left. 3 passes have been knocked down by backup Curt Phillips. Stave went out with an injury after he took a hit from Hampton on a run play. Here comes Clowney, and Phillips got rid of it. And White wrapped up. Clock running. Tackle made by Jerrell Dixon. They only got a few yards there, so they got to hurry. Clowney will head to the sideline. 3rd down and long. A minute and a half left. Badgers down 10. Everybody covered. Phillips trying to buy time. He'll take off. He did not head out of bounds, but he did get the first down, so that'll stop the clock momentarily with 1:17 remaining.
Great effort from Curt Phillips. Nobody open downfield. He knows he's got to get a first down and gets it.
Short throw by Phillips, caught by Doe, and he steps out of bounds.
This is where Wisconsin struggles because they don't have the depth at wide receiver. So in the 2-minute drill, they can't substitute wide receivers. So Abradaris is blown right now. He can't run a double move down the field because he's run 6 routes in a row. They got no substitution.
You're down 10, so again, a field goal is still an option here. You have to get an onside kick no matter what. You have to get a score on this possession. You need time left on the clock. So we'll see here if Gary Andersen, if they get inside of a minute, if he elects to kick a field goal on 3rd down. Here comes Gordon in motion. Phillips throws to Abradaris. Here's a pitch to Gordon. He fumbled the ball. South Carolina's got it. Kaiwan Lewis with the recovery. They tried a little trickery, and Gordon put it on the ground. That's his first career lost fumble.
Well, I love the design of the play. It didn't look like he was going to get much more yardage. Ball was a little bit behind him. South Carolina played it very well on the defensive side. But give credit to this South Carolina defense. They were gashed in the first half. They make the stop when they need it.
Not a great pitch, but you got to secure that there. Try to get out of bounds. South Carolina now can just get in victory formation, and the Gamecocks will win it. It'll be their 11th victory. They'll finish the season 11-2. Wisconsin will drop its 2nd straight game, fall to 9-4. Connor Shaw, our Capital One player of the game. He threw only 3 incompletions. He did have a fumble, but Wisconsin was unable to capitalize. 3 touchdowns, over 300 passing yards, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown in his final game.
Kind of fitting way for him to go out. Jadeveon Clowney getting a lot of love from his teammates. They understand it's his last game in all likelihood. And
that's it. See you in the NFL, number 7. And here comes the Spurrier Gatorade bath. He knew it was coming.
Oh, he put on a jacket. And he put his head, the hoodie up so he wouldn't get it caught in the back of his neck. It was proper planning from the head ball coach.
I think Clowney wanted to get that in after some of Spurrier's speeding ticket remarks, that he'd be able to pay for those tickets and pay for driving school January 2nd. 3rd consecutive 11-win season, first time in school history. A great year for the Gamecocks and Steve Spurrier. And Spurrier standing by with Tom down on the field.
Coach, 3 consecutive 11-win seasons. Got to be exciting for you and this program.
I tell you what, our guys played well in the 4th quarter. Gave up that kickoff return, but our offense, Connor Shaw and Bruce Ellington, and then we finally got Mike Davis a few yards, and our defense was sensational. We've been good in the 4th quarter. That's how we won 11.
Connor Shaw, a remarkable year and a remarkable career. How does he stack up in your eyes with some of the greats you've coached?
Well, he's the best running quarterback I guess I've ever coached, and he certainly can throw it too. And I think all the NFL guys saw how he can pass the ball. So he's got a future up there.
All right, Coach. Hey, good luck and go enjoy it.
Thank you, Loogie.
All right, Loogie. And Steve Spurrier happy after another win of the Capital One Bowl. Hey, Jadeveon Clowney with Tom. Go ahead.
Jadeveon Clowney, a great bowl win, a season that you got to be proud of. How do you feel like this season went for you?
Man, it's been great, man. Just been out here with a good group of guys, and we put everything into this from the summer. And we're just out here working, man, trying to build a great football team together. I don't miss everything about Carolina, man. I love everybody here.
So this is your last year in a Carolina uniform?
Yes, sir.
You're declaring for the NFL draft?
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, man. Take care.
So, no suspense. Jadeveon Clowney had made his mind up already. He's going to the NFL. We'll see if he's the number 1 pick. J.J. Watt, brother Derek, plays for Wisconsin, was in attendance today. Will they be teammates next year? One thing's for sure, South Carolina, an 11-win team, 3rd straight year. That's never happened in school history. They won 15 in a row against non-conference teams. They win the Capital One Bowl for the 2nd time in 3 years. They beat Wisconsin behind a 5-touchdown performance, 3 different ways that Connor Shaw scored. A 10-point win over Wisconsin. Back with a trophy presentation. South Carolina wins the Capital One Bowl. South Carolina wins the Capital One Bowl for the 2nd time in 3 years, beating Wisconsin 34-24. Connor Shaw, 3 touchdowns passing, 1 receiving touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. Jadeveon Clowney made his presence felt in the defensive end as Steve Spurrier, in his 300th game as a college coach, beats the Badgers. You heard Jadeveon Clowney just earlier declare to Tom Luganbill live here on ABC that he will forego his final 2 seasons at South Carolina, and
2 great careers come to an end here with Connor Shaw and what he's accomplished at the University of South Carolina. Nothing was given to him. He earned everything he got. Took over from Stephen Garcia and had to share time with Dylan Thompson, but persevered. His warrior mentality, persevered in the end, and I think it's a great way to end his career.
South Carolina wins at 34-24. Good year for Wisconsin, but the Badgers lose their final 2 games and finish 9-4. South Carolina improves to 11-2. Let's go to Tom Luganbill.
Thank you very much, Dave. Congratulations to South Carolina, the champion of the Capital One Bowl. Kevin Borgman of the Capital One Bowl taking away with the MVP trophy. Excuse me, the winning coach trophy.
On behalf of the Capital One Bowl, I'm pleased to present the George L. Stewart Senior Championship Trophy to Steve Spurrier and the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks to all you Gamecocks for coming down here. You were the difference. Big difference. Hey, these 2 Capital One Bowls in a row are pretty nice, but that state championship ain't bad either.
Coach, how important is this win for your program and for these seniors?
Well, we don't have a lot of seniors, but Connor Shaw and all the guys, we got 3 that are going to be leaving early. But to win 11 3 years in a row, that is something. Not many teams in the nation have done that, and really proud of them. They deserve it.
Speaking of our MVP, Connor Shaw, let me introduce Tony Massey, president of Florida Citrus Sports.
Most valuable player, Connor Shaw.
Best quarterback in school history, maybe the best in the country today.
I think your coach likes the mic. I think he could do our job. What do you think?
I think he'd do a pretty good job with that.
5 touchdowns today, 3 through the air. You caught one, you ran one. How special has this career at South Carolina been for you?
Man, it's such an emotional moment right now in my career. I couldn't imagine a better way to go out, though. I'm so proud of this program. My boys!
When it comes to your career at South Carolina, how do you want to be remembered?
Like this, toughest quarterback and the most winning quarterback. I couldn't imagine a better career here.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it with your Gamecock teammates.
That's right.
Thank you very much. The champions of the Capital One Bowl 2014, South Carolina.
Connor Shaw fought through injuries. A shoulder injury against UCF here in Orlando, but he played next week against Kentucky. His career is over. Jadeveon Clowney will forgo his final season at South Carolina to go to the NFL. South Carolina beats Wisconsin 34-24. We'll have more from the Capital One Bowl. But right now, let's go to the studio and check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Dave, coming up on ESPN, the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. There's a look at Stanford running back Tyler Gaffney. He and Stanford taking on Michigan State, champions of the Big Ten. That's coming up 5 Eastern, 2 local on ESPN. Earlier, Gators, the Gator Bowl, Georgia
is
and
the
Nebraska.
Quicksilver cashback card from Capital
consecutive
One.
bowl game meeting. Georgia won last year 45-31. Third quarter, check this out. Nebraska quarterback Tommy Armstrong Jr. bobbled the ball. Georgia won the safety, but hitting elbow and the ball just outside of the end zone. Officials correct in not calling it a safety.
Unlimited 1.5% cashback on every purchase everywhere, every single day.
Quincy
so let me ask,
that is a 99-yard touchdown pass. Nice job of breaking
Welcome
the
to the ESPN post-game trophy presentation brought to you by Capital One.
Leads 24-12.
So down to the field for the presentation of the championship trophy to today's victorious team, the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Little pass to Todd Gurley turns into a big touchdown. 25 yards. Georgia cuts the lead to 24-19. 31 seconds left. Georgia going for it on 4th and 3. Mason.
What a way to end a tremendous career at South Carolina. An underrated career. You called him the most
good win for them in light of how their season ended. 24-19 winners over number 22 Georgia. 24-19. Tommy Armstrong Jr. only threw it 14 times, but that long one, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns, all part of 163 yards through the air. Anunwa, 4 catches, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Amir Abdullah, 122 yards on the ground on 27 carries and a touchdown as Nebraska gets the win. And right now on ESPN, close game between LSU and Iowa in the Outback Bowl. Number 16 leading Iowa 21-14. That game on ESPN, also available on the Watch ESPN app. And once again, coming up, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 Pacific, Jeremy Langford. 8 straight 100-yard rushing games. That's a school record for Michigan State. He and the Spartans getting ready to take on Stanford in the Rose Bowl. That's coming up 5 Eastern. Dave.
Final time that Jadeveon Clowney walked off the field, the South Carolina Gamecock. He told Tom Luginbill that he will forgo his final year with the Gamecocks and head of the NFL. Connor Shaw, his career done. Great senior season, great final game. Only 1 interception thrown all year. He did fumble today, but that was about the only mistake he made. He had 3 touchdowns passing, And he also had a rushing touchdown and a touchdown catch. So for the SEC going forward, what does this mean? You get South Carolina 3 years in a row now with 11 wins. Can Steve Spurrier get South Carolina in a position where it can challenge for national titles?
Well, I think you got to start with the SEC East, right? And their nemesis have been Georgia, right? At the beginning of the year, they lost that game. I think next year is going to be big for South Carolina, Steve Spurrier. Dylan Thompson, to me, is going to be a big key, right? You got so many playmakers coming back on the offensive side. Mike Davis as a running back. And then on the defensive side, yes, you're going to lose Kelsey Quarles and Jadeveon Clowney, but you're going to have back all the linebackers. You're going to have back a secondary outside of Victor Hampton that has a lot of experience. Can they become that elite defense to go with an offense that you know is going to be productive?
Be interesting to see Wisconsin next year, too, how different they might be. Obviously, they bring back Melvin Gordon, one of the best running backs in the country, a potential Heisman Trophy candidate.
And I think you're going to see some changes from this Gary Andersen-led staff. I think you're going to see an offense that is more multiple. I think you're going to see more mobility from the quarterback position. There's going to be a competition between Joel Stave, Tanner McAvoy. They got a young player coming in, DJ Gillens. They want to be more like the Russell Wilson-led Wisconsin teams. So it'll be interesting to see how those changes start to take effect next year for Wisconsin.
You saw Connor Shaw walking off the field. There he is. Tremendous performance by Shaw today with the 5 touchdowns accounted for. The South Carolina beats Wisconsin 34-24. The Gamecocks finished with 11 wins, and Wisconsin 9-4. Clowney seeing family and friends, and that's it for him as a college player. Going to be fun to watch him on Sundays.
I would be shocked if he is not the #1 player taken by the Houston Texans as this draft comes off. Can you imagine him with J.J. Watt?
Final score from the 2014 Capital One Bowl: South Carolina 34, Wisconsin 24. Had a great season with our tremendous crew, our director Michael Ireland, Brian Ryder, our producer, Tom Luganbill, Brian Greasy. I'm Dave Pash. Been a fantastic year. We'll see you in September.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year. South Carolina wins at 34-24. Go over to ESPN if you want to watch the Rose Bowl. So long from Orlando.